Maybe it's been a long time. I feel like there's so much to talk about. So much has happened in just the last 7 days that it's incredibly hard to not be hyped, chat, not be excited. Today is Good Friday, and I kind of want to say that this is the only time I've ever streamed on Good Friday because I change my stream date a lot, and Good Friday is a moving holiday, so it is unusual for these days to line up. So it's all very serendipitous. It's a very happy Easter weekend indeed. Um, so yeah, a lot. And I've been losing sleep recently. I've been staying up later and later to take care of stuff because there's a lot that I have to do, and I was afraid that I would be sleepy for this stream because I knew it would be hype. I've been preparing for it for days now, and I was like, oh no, am I going to be tired tomorrow? But guess what? Another serendipitous occurrence has happened. As you know, I quit caffeine entirely over Lent. Lent is now over. I have not had a drop of caffeine. No coffee, no Monster, no tea even, no caffeine pills. I've been on long trips even, and I've not had any caffeine whatsoever. Not a single fucking drop. I am in agonizing sobriety. But I made it. I made it, chat. The first time probably in my entire life, going back to when I was like 9, that I've gone a full month without any kind of soda, any kind of energy drink, any kind of tea, any kind of coffee, nothing, not a single thing. Really, it's actually kind of crazy when you put it like that. I've been caffeine dependent my entire fucking life. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might continue. I might not. I think a coffee a day or something is not going to hurt me. So I probably will get back into drinking coffee or something because it helps jumpstart the day. But as I said, today is serendipitous because even though I'm not drinking any coffee, you might notice I am somewhat high energy despite my sleeplessness. And that is because I have allergies. And, and on my last stream, I was congested. I had a stuffy nose. So I went to the store and I got some over-the-counter Claritin, and I remembered, oh yeah, this shit has ephedrine in it. I'm high on ephedrine, chat. I'm high on ephedrine for the best possible fucking stream that I could be high on ephedrine. So, let's go. Let's go. All right. Let's just get into it. Let's start with a little bit of cute news because this stream is going to be so nostalgic for a variety of reasons, not least of which is Homestar Runner putting out a new video. Apparently he does put out 1 to 3 videos a year, but this one celebrates Homestar Runner's 25 years of existence on the internet. If you don't know what Homestar Runner is, you're either foreign or you're very young. Homestar Runner was a viral website, one of the very first viral websites ever on the internet. It was something that every school, every elementary school across the entire country, you'd pull up Homestar Runner on the iMacs in the computer lab and you'd watch Homestar Runner. And it's just goofy. It's very inoffensive. It's very silly. It definitely appeals to kids, but it's like this guy hasn't changed at all. He's even using Flash to animate his fucking videos still. He does all the voices perfectly, and I found out that there's a thing called Ruffle, which is a built-in Rust, by the way, built-in Rust, and it's a web shim, a web binary program that allows modern browsers to play Shockwave Flash as if it was a native program, which is just crazy to me. So, and it's built by one of the guys that started Newgrounds. And if you don't know what Newgrounds is, you're very young. But back in the day, before YouTube, before video codecs could be streamed on the internet reasonably because of bandwidth constraints, because back in the day, even servers, even enterprise servers had serious issues with bandwidth. Back before then, what you would do is you would use Flash to do dynamic content, and Newgrounds was a repository for Flash that was very popular. So crazy times to see Homestar Runner surround. And it's very soothing. It's like, you know, everything's changed. And this song, by the way, is great. I would actually recommend you watch it because it's called Back to a Website, and the whole thing is just about how the internet used to be. And there's so many callbacks to old internet stuff and how the new internet sucks ass, and I really appreciate it. It came out like literally the best time possible for this kind of nostalgia, because this whole week has just been nostalgia for me, basically. Super cool. Awesome. I'm happy to see it. Genuinely. Let's check on my enemies, chat. The Internet Archive is being sued for $700 million by a coalition of major record labels for piracy. The Internet Archive maintains an archive of music, and if you don't know, during Drop Kiwi Farms, Keffels managed to get the Internet Archive to completely banish the Kiwi Farms from their Wayback Machine. So kind of fuck them, to be honest. They have also done shady stuff where they've removed archives of tweets and stuff at the behest of journalists, and it's just like it's. I think there's a rumor that one of their board members is related to Taylor Lorenz, who's just like the worst person on the fucking planet. So I don't know, suffer, I guess. It doesn't make me happy to see the Internet Archive languish, but at the same time, it's like I would be the first in fucking line to lay down my life for things like the Internet Archive and the EFF if they didn't compromise on their values, and they did. The EFF, and especially the EFF, is extremely, extremely hollowed out, and it's disgusting to me. So. Just a brief update on that. I actually made a Xeet about this, making fun of this, and it got more likes than the fucking Internet Archive's post asking for help. So I feel a little bit mean. I feel like I just wanted to get a jab in and say fuck you, but I might have actually done a lot of harm to the reputation in doing so. So I don't know. I feel a teensy tiny little bit bad about it, chat. Yeah. Let me get the hamster out, because I haven't been talking about news, but I'm about to talk about news, and that requires a news hamster as per protocol, chat. News hamster up on the ready, the pseudoephedrine coursing through my veins, reminding me to bring up the hamster for the first time in maybe 3 years of doing this podcast, one time. Next, the United States Courts of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit. This is a big thing that you've not heard about. This is a big decision. So the FCC sued AT&T, the telecom provider in the United States, for mishandling user information that resulted in a data breach exposing, I think, 70 million customer profiles to the internet. The FCC has rules and regulations that oversee how you have to handle personal consumer information like that. I'll give people a second to tune back in. Come on, chat. F5. Let's go. Okay. Everybody's back. Great. Wonderful. It's not even me. It's not me. It's somebody else. Okay. It's not my fault. So what the decision says, and this is upheld in the appeals court, is that a year ago, I talked about on my stream how there was a decision that reversed course on an old decision that permitted agencies of the government to have judicial power. When an agency is formed, if you don't know, the United States does not have a constitutional provision for agencies. All the agencies in the U.S. are basically started after FDR in the 1930s in response to the Great Depression, where he ruined the country effectively by creating a system of enabling acts that create agencies that handle parts of the government supposedly more efficiently, but more cumbersomely for everybody. And the way that this works, in order to try and appear constitutional, is that an enabling act created three different things. You had to mirror how the government works in full. You would have an executive branch, you would have a judicial branch, and you would have a legislative branch. So you would have an executive branch that was picked by the president. That's who the secretaries are. You would have a legislative branch that passed regulations, and that's what a regulation is. It comes from the legislative branches of the different agencies. And these must comport to the Enabling Act's rules of what the agency can oversee. And then you had a judicial branch, which was administrative law, which is a fucking nightmare. So if the FCC fined you, you'd have to go to the judicial branch of the FCC and handle the administrative law and appeal to them directly, which creates a conflict of interest. If the agency regulating you is also the agency that's going to be deciding your cases, they're basically going to get away with doing whatever the fuck they want, right? So this was challenged in the Supreme Court, I want to say 50 years ago, and it was upheld that this was constitutional. But just a few years ago in the new Supreme Court, they upheld that this was not constitutional, and it actually infringed your Seventh Amendment rights to a fair trial. So now, whenever a agency attempts to enforce something like a fine for dropping 70 million customer profiles due to a hack, they can appeal that to the real courts, and the administrative courts don't have any power. And indeed, the appeals court has just held that the FCC basically has no enforcement power. The FCC as an entity, as of this judgment, has no stinger. It is basically like a honeybee that's broken off its stinger and it's going to die. It can't do anything. It can make all the rules that it wants, but it has no power to enforce those rules. And in fact, the only way that they could enforce their rules is if they tried to sue in real court and not their administrative courts. But as a caveat, there exists no agency with an enabling act that explicitly permits them to sue in court. So they don't even have the right to sue in court, and they can't compel the Department of Justice to sue in court on their behalf unless they broke a real law that's not a regulation. So not only does this impact the FCC, it impacts all government agencies. They've all been completely defanged. The agencies of the United States government are now defunct entities that don't have any power. And the only way that can be fixed is if the Congress passes laws, and there is fat fucking chance that right now the Congress of the United States is going to pass a law that enables the FCC to be a dickhead to people. So crazy ruling that will impact your life if you live in the United States, because all the myriad of agencies that exist are now useless. Completely fucking useless. So expect ramifications about this. Expect, once people actually figure out what this means, expect them to talk about it, and you're going to hear a lot about this because it is a big fucking deal. The entire established order of the United States has just been turned on its head, and nobody has really realized it yet. Next, Google lost its lawsuit as well, and it is declared a monopoly in the ad market. Google AdSense lost its lawsuit. It controls like 99.98% of all online marketing. It integrates tightly into its Google Play Store and into YouTube and so on and so forth with no competition. So the courts are going to have to decide, how are we going to split up Google AdSense now? And honestly, I can't be fucking happier. A long time ago, by the way, not only fuck advertisers, but a long time ago when the Kiwi Farms was brand new, I had Google ads on the Kiwi Farms. I would put them above a thread and below a thread and in an inconspicuous spot on the sidebar. 10 years ago, those advertising spots generated the Kiwi Farms $200 of income. And this was when we had like 100 people that would browse the site. If I could actually monetize the Kiwi Farms like a real entity, I am not joking, I think we would make at least $30,000 a month, probably 50. And then I could reinvest that money into the site. But they, advertisers and the payment processors, they get to decide who makes money in this country, and I don't. So I can't be happier. I hope Google gets completely fucking ruined. I hope that all the Pajeets working in Google get fucking deported. I don't care where they're from. They don't belong in this country. They have anti-American values, and I live under them. I live under the technocratic rule of a Pajeet upper class that does not give a fuck about me, does not give a fuck about Americanism, doesn't give a fuck about the Constitution, and just wants to make as much money as humanly possible so they can import more Pajeets to fuck me over long term and fuck over any family that I have, any people living in the country. Fuck them, fuck all their companies. I hope all these big tech companies go under. I hope all the fucking Jeets get deported. Next, New Jersey suing Discord for putting children at risk. I have shown my DMs. I hope there is nothing in there. I guess I'll find out. I will suffer the consequences of my actions at some point. So New Jersey is suing Discord and about exposing children to risk. Now, you could say that this is meaningless. Nobody cares about New Jersey. Fuck Discord. Actually, I could say that. Fuck Discord. I was watching the Kino Casino, and they were watching a video that had Discord sound effects to like as like just like a sound effect, and the chat was like, "Oh my god, I keep thinking my Discord's going off," and PPP was like, "Oh my god, I've checked my Discord 3 times too because I keep thinking it's my Discord." Meanwhile, me, impervious to the black magic. You people trained like dogs. Yeah, you hear doop doop, and you're like, Discord message. My kitten might be responding to me with more feet pics. My kitten might be responding. Oh, it's a video. God damn it. And then you get that crash. Like, God damn it. Don't put the Discord sound effect in your video. I think it's my Discord kitten messaging me. Me, in my zone, in my element, unfazed and unbothered by your Pavlov condition Discord beeps, chat. Be like me, chat. Anyways, fuck Discord. The consequence of this is more Discord users will continue to suffer. The beatings will continue, and it does not matter if morale improves because they don't care. Discord is implementing age and facial recognition software into their client to protect them kids. So what you're going to have to do, and trust me, this Discord is only doing this to protect them kids. It has nothing to do with being owned by Tencent. Now, all the boomers are concerned about TikTok being owned by Tencent because they use TikTok and they see people in their family use TikTok and their wives probably use TikTok to watch cooking videos, so it affects them. But they don't know that in the other room, their kids and grandkids are on Discord getting groomed into Discord kittens, so it doesn't bother them. So Discord, owned by Tencent, is going to be collecting your identification, and they're going to be collecting scans of your face just to make sure that it matches your identification for no nefarious purposes whatsoever. It is strictly for the children, chat. So don't be upset. This is the future. Cool. See, this is the issue with Ephedrine. I got all my slides lined up. I'm almost through the news segment. We're 20 minutes in. Everyone's like, oh my God, Josh, you're going to be suffering today. This is going to be a 7-hour-long stream, chat. Bitch, I'm about to knock this fucker out in 50 minutes. Choo. Next. This is not technically news, but I thought I would announce on behalf of my community that the Kiwi Farms, the users of the Kiwi Farms, have published or completed their Doom mapping project called Kiwi Dreams. So you can find this on the front page. It is in the games board. It has the very prominent community tag in front of it. This is completed. So it has a whole background story. It has all these custom assets and stuff. Lots of references. I probably have to play this on stream or play it on local. So I have a list of like little stuff that I am preparing to do streams on. I have a funny like medical thing. Like they did a proper study that's been submitted to PubMD and shit. That's really funny. It's related to a locale. I have this. I have. By the way, I'm waiting on some coffee to arrive. I bought some coffee. I'm going to leave it. I brought 2 kinds of coffee, and I'm going to review some coffee, chat, because the coffee brand coffee thing was in the news. So if you want to subscribe to the locals, it's matttheinternet.locals.com, or you can just do matty.live/dono, and you can join that. And thank you, everyone who has, because it allows me to buy coffee and write it off on my taxes. My coffee is a business expense, chat, because I'm reviewing it on locals. That's how it works. That's how people who do YouTube videos don't pay any fucking tax, because 100% what they buy is a business expense for their video. Fun fact. Anyways, very cool. I love stuff like this. I have a little bit of extra fan art that I'm going to be showing later in the stream. Fan art in fan creations like this and community art projects are the lifeblood of a community. If people aren't making stuff, you don't have a community really. Art is the byproduct of culture. So when your culture stops producing art, it's going to collapse because that's effectively a sign. It's like a meter of health. You know what I mean? So very awesome to see. Very, very happy to see people working on stuff like that. Very cool. Very cool. And then I have a little update. So I had an idea. I had an epiphany because I had to pay a bill and they didn't take any cards. They didn't want cash. They didn't take cryptocurrency. They wanted me to go to my bank and they wanted me to set up bill pay. And I realized while setting this up, this fucker is from the bank and it sends checks to an address that you choose without any kind of verification for any amount that you want on a schedule that you want. And it was like a aha moment. I'm like, I'm going to set up a way to send checks by bill pay. And I discovered later that there's a check scanner that you get it from the bank, and it's like having a little teller in your office. And then you put the checks in them and it deposits them all. So I'm going to set this up, chat. We are going to finally, forever, set up a way to support the Kiwi Farms on the Kiwi Farms with perks. And my goal is 300 people for $40 a month. And it's going to be fucking lit. I think that this is it. I think that this is the solution because there's no bottlenecks. It comes from the client's bank to the mail guy, and then it goes to my bank. There's no payment processors whatsoever. And if your bank tells you that we're not going to send a check to this office, you can just get a new bank. There's thousands of banks. You just have to find one willing to do it. And the chances are they're all going to do it. So I feel I am setting up a proper fucking system, and I'm going to try to handle 300 checks a month. And I am extremely optimistic about this. And I've been working on it all week in like a fevered pitch. I'm going to fucking do it. You can't stop me. Hopefully you can't. But we'll see. Maybe this is what I was being pushed to, chat. I've discovered that God doesn't give me anything that I want. But I have always gotten everything that I need. So maybe it just took this long to push me to the final solution of the banking problem. I'm just going to tell people how to set up bill pay, and I'm going to collect $40 checks. And that's my ambition, chat. Okay. No, it's not a check. It's a proper, because you can use your phone to e-deposit, but it's actually a machine that sits on your desk, and it's managed by the bank, and they make sure that your office and your business practices are compliant with bank regulations, and it connects directly to the bank through a private proxy, basically. And it's completely, like, there's no private information that I have to store. It just does it all automatically, pretty much. So it's not only extremely good for user privacy, it's more good for user privacy than using PayPal. PayPal sends you your fucking address and the email address to everybody you buy something from. Every time you use PayPal, you dox yourself. So it's more secure than that kind of shit, because the documents get destroyed after a month, and there's no record of your the paid account. So it's like, if it works, it's like a silver fucking bullet. If it works how I think it works, it's like a silver fucking bullet. I can't imagine. I feel like not only can I do this, I can use it as a proof of proof of concept, and tell other people this is how you do this. And then anybody who's willing to collect checks in the mail or have somebody collect it for them, they can make money regardless of what Stripe fucking wants. So I'm going to try it, and if it works, I'm going to set up a document explaining to people how to do what I've done, and hopefully we can enter an old school cool where people are able to do what they want with their money again. Cool. Merch run. I can't do it. Merch is harder to do with just checks. This is easier. But I think that money laundering, it's not money laundering. It's just you're sending a check directly to Local LLC. How is that money laundering? It's just that there's a guy that lives at that address that can collect the checks for me and handle it for me. And he's already licensed to work with banking equipment like that. So no, it's not. It's literally not money laundering. You're sending it directly to who it's going to. Awesome. Next. For this, I will put on the Fem Ham. And you know what, chat? I think that the Fem Ham needs a little bit of music to go with her. You ready? Let's do it. Where's my music at? I have this all queued up, ready to go. Chat, the music and the waves the British flag for the rarest of rares, the most elusive thing on the planet, more elusive than Bigfoot or the Loch Ness even. The British have gotten a W. The Supreme Court of the United Kingdom has officially declared, you will never be a real woman. That's what they've said. And so even the Daily Telegraph has printed physical prints of the headline across the nation of the United Kingdom. Trans women are not women. And they've shown the most prominent TERFs. The most prominent TERFs in the entire country cheering, celebrating as troons are put in their fucking place once again. And then, not only this, not only have they scored a huge W for not just themselves, but the whole world, because now it's okay. Everybody else can do this too. If the British can do it, then the precedent's set. A real Western country has passed this as a judicial act, and now everybody else can do it too. But not only this, the final boss of transphobes, the real final boss, has posted a proper mogging picture. There are literally tens of thousands of troons who want to kill this woman, who would happily fucking murder her in a heartbeat. And she just goes out on the internet and posts a picture of herself smoking a cigar saying, I love it when a plan comes together. I'm just imagining the picture of Pepe putting the cigar out into Janny's face, but it's a troon this time, and it's J.K. Rowling doing it. That's the timeline that we're in, and it could not be better. Even the fucking British, rising the fuck up, chat. Just awesome. And then, by the way, I saw a little bit of people saying like, J.K. Rowling is getting so much. It was Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh was salty. It's like, actually, J.K. Rowling's only been doing this for a couple years. I've been doing this since 2017. Now, his point is what he's not getting the full credit that he thinks he deserves. I don't know about you guys. I've been doing this since 2013. I've been suffering. I remember 2014. I remember that we had a Tumblr board, and the tranny shit did not fucking exist until Tumblr basically incubated it as a mind virus on Tumblr. And then I saw it in real time spread to little kids. Little kids on the platform were suddenly chopping off their tits. And it was like, what the fuck? And then it became the entire world. And everyone in the entire world was playing along with this. And I saw it in real time. I was like a Chinaman in a Wuhan wet market eating like some Kung Pao chicken. And then I just see grandma drop fucking dead in the middle of the road and start shaking. I'm like, what the fuck? So I've been there since day one, okay? And I'm never going to get credit for it, and I'm not salty about it. You know why? Because you win by winning, chat. You don't win by personally doing everything yourself and then winning. You win by winning. And this is winning. Doesn't matter if it's British. Doesn't matter if it's some fucking libtard like J.K. Rowling. You win only through one thing. And that is by winning. Everything besides winning is losing, chat. That is the way that it works. And to show you how important it is that we shouldn't alienate people, she says this in response to the LBC in the UK saying that she agrees with Trump. She says, if we had to choose between male rapists being locked up with women and the eradication of women's single-sex spaces, even down to homeless shelters and rape crisis centers, and knowing that we share a single opinion with Donald Trump, I'm comfortable with my choice. This is like an immense breakthrough in thought where you can say, well, yes, I do agree with Orange Hitler on this issue, and go fuck yourself. This is an unspeakable sentiment even a few days ago for almost everybody on the entire fucking planet. And then you have one of the most prominent people in the entire world, one of the most respected authors of our generation saying, yes, as a matter of fact, I do agree with Orange Hitler. And that's winning. That's fucking winning. That's winning. That's how you win. Now, it's okay. You can agree with Orange Hitler on some things, chat. Because the Scottish Harry Potter person said that she does too. So, it's a good thing. It's a pure good thing. Anyone trying to be a Debbie Downer or making it about themselves, go fuck yourself. Because this is a pure, unadulterated, biggest, fattest fucking W ever. In regards to the tranny shit. Awesome. Very happy. In fact, the tables have turned. The tides have changed. The vibe has shifted so much that even the huge Ewu bodycam channel, 1.7 million subscribers, posted the bodycam footage of a 3 million subscriber tranny having a mental breakdown. Here's the vibe shift. You ready? This is from the officer responding to the altercation.
Officer arrives on scene.
Is this 2X? No, it's not.
Where the security guard who made the 911 call is already waiting outside to explain the situation.
Yeah, she upstairs. They telling me I'm finna call the general manager, but they telling me she's VIP, but I don't know if VIP or not. You can't do that, dog.
So it's a wedding, and the tranny has gotten naked and is acting like a retard. So the black guy calls the cops, number one. So he's already apprehensive about this. The cops arrive on scene, and his manager is telling him, that's a VIP. You make sure they have a good time. And the security guy is just like, fuck this. You can't be crazy tranny anymore, and I'm going to call the police. So the police arrive. The tranny is, in fact, being crazy. Black man fed up. He's not. Don't give a fuck if it's a 3 million subscriber YouTuber, whatever the fuck, on a wedding day. Fuck you. And then let's see. Here we go. This is the good part.
Room momentarily, and seconds later, Nikita performs another foul act of defiance.
Oh no, I have to pee. Here I go. Oh no. Oh.
A short time
So
later.
this Shroon Look, I like how oh my god, that is so funny. The Ewu guy made the box like a long vertical so that yeah, we're using the pronouns because we have to, because no Mahan, but I'm just saying this is a rectangle, this is not a square, okay? This is not a horizontal rectangle either, this is a vertical rectangle. So, so that's where we're at. Where 3 million subscriber Troon YouTubers are getting absolutely fucking wrecked and humiliated by the biggest fucking body cam channels, true crimes channels on YouTube, and they're doing the best with what they got available to them. Chat, to be quite honest with you, that is fucking awesome. If you want to see the whole video, this is on Ewu Body Cam. One of my favorite channels. I'm one of those fucking people. I'm one of those fucking losers, chat. I watch true crime. I'm old, chat. So I watch the first 48, and I watch the Ewu body cam and the Ewu, the regular Ewu main channel. And I watch Code Blue now. Code Blue is a great channel. You may think it's weird to watch body cam footage, but if you watch Code Blue a couple times, you'll be into it, and then you'll be making jokes about Wisconsin. Oh man, it's been a while since I actually watched. What's the name of the meme county in Wisconsin from that channel? Because for whatever reason they get most of their footage from Wisconsin. So there's lacrosse county. That's it. Every time the video starts up, it's like a call was received by the Lacrosse County Police Department. You're like, oh fuck, this is gonna be a banger. Oh shit, here we go. Cool. And then I think there's one more. Oh, okay. We got one more little update from ADF. Again, I have never formally fully introduced him, but he's chimping out on Bluesky, I think, and he says Kiwi Farms must refrain from further threats of home invasion and violence over the 4chan hacking. These actions place local Kiwi Farms users living in Portland, Beaverton, and adjacent unincorporated areas of Washington County at risk of punitive actions by the anti-fascist jurisdiction of Portland. Failure to adhere to the order will result in further action taken to secure the anti-fascist jurisdiction of Portland from further Kiwi Farms activities. Kiwi Farms, this is your ultimatum. You have until 12:01 a.m. on Friday, April 18th, 2025. Good Friday. For some reason, acknowledging that it's Good Friday, even though he's a communist tranny. To see he just can't help himself. He got to pay props. To cease making threats of home invasion and violence. Your terroristic behavior runs counter to the peace and dignity of the anti-fascist jurisdiction in Portland. You have been for far too long given safe harbor in the communities of the so-called Silicon Forest. You cross the porous western border and harass trans women of Portland. A tranny complaining about a porous border, about Californians coming up. Okay. This will stop, even if it means intervention must occur to stop your violence and terrorism. One must hope that the term denazification would mean something to Kiwi Farms. So every so often, ADF has these bouts of paranoid schizophrenia. I think I showed a picture of him dressed head to toe in SWAT gear with tear gas canisters and shit, and it's just he loves to pretend that he's the little freedom fighter, and he's going out and he's bathing the fath, and he's the fath bather, and he's gonna set up the Trantifa paradise in Portland, and he's just whining on Twitter. He's literally 0 likes. Just great, excellent. Oh man, I really did. I'm going too fast. I have so much mental acuity right now. I'm just speaking a million words a minute, and now I've already emptied out the news segment and the Troon segment, chat. Should I get into the beef? Should I meander in my thoughts a little bit, chat? Should I just tell you about my day? About how much I like blue crab, chat, and how tasty soft shell crab is, and how you should all go get your soft shell crab and eat soft shell crab because it's so fucking good. No? Should I just go to the locale segment, chat? The beef. Okay. I think so. Let's see. Let's make sure this is right. Okay, let's meander a little bit on this because I need to do a proper deep dive on him at some point because I keep hearing about him. He's like a favorite pet on the forum, and not just the forum, but the broader internet. So he does come up over and over again, and I need to learn more about him. But basically, from what I understand, there's these Fallen Chungus comics that are very popular. It's just like guys making face. I think the most famous one is this fucking sucks, actually, and it's like a guy grinning and pointing back at like a hot dog on a skateboard, and it says coolest fucking thing ever. That was made by an artist called Datsmojo, if I remember correctly. And for whatever reason, he had a complete crash out because he's like a teenager or something. So the fame of making these comments and being like super famous, like completely buck broke him and ruined his fucking brain. So he eventually sold his channel to somebody who, from my understanding, has just continued making those comics, and nobody has noticed that it's a different person. And then this guy is now like begging for commissions for his like art style, and his art style is like very basic. So it's not particularly persuasive. However, he says, I'm only accepting Cash Acts and Robux. So to give you an idea of how young this guy is and where his mental level is at, he accepts art commissions and fucking Robux, which is bizarre. And I don't know why Cash App and Robux are spelled that way. I guess because if you say Cash App or Robux, you get like 10 million Indian scammers in your reply saying, hello, my good sir. I have found a way to duplicate all my Robux in my favorite game, Roblox, which I have been playing my entire life. I am 12, by the way. If you click this link, you will get free Robux forever. And so you just have to avoid that by spelling it like you're you're doing leet speak in the 2000s. I'm actually 30, and I'm allowed to say crash. I'm gonna say crash out again. He crashed out, chat. Crashing out. That's the thing. That's the thing that the kids do these days. By the way, if I'm speaking about the kids, I'm allowed to say that they're crashing out because that's what they do. They don't just burn out. They crash out. If I was talking about iDubbbz doing something retarded, I might say that he's a washed up, burned out retard. But when I'm talking about the Zoomies, they crash out. That's how it goes. Let's see. He responds. This is the thing that he does. He responds to all the trolls, and this is why he gets trolled so hard. He gets followed by somebody also called Datsmojo using his art as his avatar. And instead of just ignoring this, he like responds to it and gives him attention. And by the way, his commissions post gets no likes, and then the post of him responding to bait gets like 50. Proving my point, unfortunately. Still a huge fan of your art, but if the simple action of me following you so I can see more is a trigger or some shit, I'll retract it. And it just started going. So this is why it's not like big things with him. It's just like he's just like constantly a little bit of a retard, like a little bit of a lolcow, and people enjoy that kind of thing on the forum chat. That's the secret. Okay, this is funny too. I've never even heard of these people, but it made me laugh. So I looked into this. This guy called Nick Polom, I think. I'm gonna pull it up actually because it's on the thing. I think it's Polom, sorry. Nick Polom and his wife, Melina. Another Melina getting a divorce, and this is true. She came over from Sweden. She's a Swedish woman named Melina, just like Destiny's Melina. Came over, married a YouTuber, and is now getting a divorce. She alleges that he was faithless. He was sexting other women, and that I have a note for this because I don't remember it off the top of my head. I actually took notes. I prepared for this fully and shit. Oh, he kept her locked out of bank account. So they didn't have a joint bank account. He would give her like an allowance and she didn't have access to his money. So that on top of the fact that he was like fucking around, she divorced him. And I'd never heard of these people. I'd actually falsely assumed that Soda Poppin' was the guy, but it's not Soda Poppin'. I actually had to pull up a picture. I did this last minute. I thought, you know what? I feel like I talk about these guys getting a divorce, I need to show you a picture of them because I don't even know what they like. I thought, how unprepared of me. I don't know what they look like. I don't know what they sound like. And I'm going to talk about their divorce. That's kind of shitty. Let's pull up a video. He's black, chat. She came over from Sweden to clout chase this black guy who immediately locked her out of his finances and started fucking around with other girls behind her back. So now she's in the United States dressed up as 2B while he's dressed up as Sailor Moon, or not even Sailor Moon. That's the pink thing that that pink-haired femboy wears. So that's what they're doing, and now they're getting divorced. Whoops. If only there was some indication that this was going to happen. Awesome. So I don't know if you know these two people, but if you do, I'm sorry to inform you. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that mommy and daddy are getting divorced. But they didn't have any kids, I don't think. So you know what? It's for the better, chat. He's Hispanic, bro. He's not Hispanic. He's like a mix of like black and Hispanic. Hispanics don't have that black haircut that he has. That's all I have to say about that. This I have a lot more to say about. Now, I watched through this entire thing. Before I explain this, I'm talking about Karl Jobst, who lost to the King of Kong, Billy Mitchell, I think last week or the week before, and he was ordered to pay 350,000 Australian in immediate damages, but also court costs. And this was an upsetting thing to many people, not because he lost. It was initially because he lost, because everyone had assumed that the lawsuit was what he had mostly discussed in his videos, that the lawsuit was Billy Mitchell suing him for calling him a cheater in the high score for Donkey Kong that he got that was very contentious, and he's been litigious about in the past. Billy Mitchell had been suing people in the past for saying that he cheated at Donkey Kong. It's been a whole thing for 10 years. Billy Mitchell, super unlikable, kind of smug guy, definitely like an anti-hero if you do like him. I think that if you like the guy, you probably appreciate the fact that he acts like that. But to normal people, especially because of his litigiousness, people don't find him very palatable. So, considering his litigation history, considering certain threats that Karl Jobst had shown, Jobst, I forget that he pronounces his name wrong. Karl Jobst showed on stream, it seemed like, and specifically legal threats from Billy Mitchell regarding the information about high score tables, but the evidence was very convincing that he did cheat by submitting an emulated game of Donkey Kong to the high score table, and it seems like he was right. However, when the news dropped that Billy Mitchell had won, these hundreds of thousands of people tuned in to watch a 30-minute long oral summary judgment by the judge presiding over the case in Australia, who explained very clearly and articulately that the lawsuit was about the claim that Jobst had made twice, that Billy Mitchell was responsible for the death of Apollo Legend, another speedrun YouTuber. And this was predicated on an assumption that he had made that because Billy Mitchell had sued Apollo Legend, that was the motivating factor for Apollo Legend to take his own life. This is false. This is false, and it's been proven false by every single person who knew anything about Apollo Legend and who was close to them. And Karl was also very wrong about the fact that Apollo Legend had made any kind of monetary consolations to Billy Mitchell. I think that the summary in total was less than $10,000, a lot of money, but not kill yourself over, So the judge found him guilty of defamation for that purpose, not only because, and I'll hold that thought actually. So a lot of people saw this and were like, I feel lied to. I feel lied to, in particular because after Karl had received the threats about the Donkey Kong scores, he started a GoFundMe to raise, I think, $200,000 Australian to defend himself in a court of law against Billy Mitchell. But what Billy Mitchell ended up suing him for was the Donkey Kong scores. So even though he didn't, and I hesitate to say this, he didn't directly mislead people in like a literal legalistic sense. But the fact that his most prominent talking points was about the Donkey Kong scores and not about the Apollo Legend suicide, which he mentioned precisely one time at the end of one video, many people felt misled. And he tries to backtrack that and say, well, I couldn't talk about that, so I didn't, and I focused on what I could talk about, which was the scores. Many people find that this is an insufficient response, and many people still feel that they were intentionally misled. So this response is very bad, and it's not worth playing. I'm just going to play like a minute of it so that you can get a sense of how he talks. You would expect that maybe this video is a little bit more emotional or a little bit more personal, maybe him sitting down in front of the camera to talk about it, but let's see.
On the 1st of April, I lost my lawsuit against Billy Mitchell, and the judge has ordered me to pay $350,000 in damages, plus interest. It goes without saying this is not the result I wanted or expected, and it's honestly quite shocking. Personally, I disagree with the judge's decision, and so I'm currently exploring any potential avenues for appeal. An appeal may stay the judgment on application until the appeal has concluded, which might result in several outcomes.
That is the entire video. That's how most of his videos are. And in this one, he decided that he would play Minecraft footage for 32 minutes while discussing what had happened and his excuses for how he misled people. And I find it extremely unconvincing. I'm sure most other people do as well. I feel like it's completely inappropriate, and I feel like if you're going to do a video like this without showing your face, you should use a static background or anything more grounded than Minecraft footage, because it feels very flippant and that you're not taking it seriously. And I think many people would agree with that. However, while there's nothing in this video that I really want to show you, because I did watch through it and I would have clipped it if I had felt that there's something worth showing, what I want to talk about in regards to this is what is missing. He lies through omission again. In particular, first, I mean, the one thing that he says that the judges flatly got it wrong, which I guess I'm not an Australian legal scholar, so I can't really opine on that. He denies that he did anything wrong. And what he really glosses over is not just that he accused Billy Mitchell of being the main contributing factor to Apollo Legend suicide. He ignores the fact, and this was one of the big points of contention. You might forgive him for not talking about the Apollo Legend suicide thing as a whole, as a part of his case, because he says that it could harm his case if he talked about it. You might be willing to forgive him. But what many people found unforgivable was the fact that Karl Jobst is personal friends with eChecks and Dark Viper AU, who are other YouTubers, I think, that do content on speedrunning or video game stuff. And eChecks and Dark Viper AU were both directly mentioned in Apollo Legends suicide note as giving him, I think the exact words were, the final push he really needed. So he directly called them out as giving him the motivation to take his own life. And Karl Jobst was friends with both of them. And for whatever reason, Karl Jobst felt the need to try and deflect the suicide and its fault onto Billy Mitchell, who was his sworn enemy. And that's why it looks so malicious. It's not just that he said something and he got it wrong, and he said something really bad and got it wrong. He said something that he should have known better than, because his two personal friends were implicated in the suicide and Billy Mitchell was not. And he does not even address this. And it's like, if you're gonna be so cowardly to not show your face and do the Minecraft footage of video explaining your situation, it feels like you should at least use that anonymity and that distance between yourself and the apology, or the, not even an apology, but the video explaining the situation, to actually address some of the biggest issue that people had with how you handled your legal case. And he just didn't. And it's hard for me to imagine how he's going to recover from this position that he's put himself in, because it loses so much goodwill with everybody. People don't like being lied to. And people are not that stupid. This is a very easy thing to understand. Everyone thought that it was about the Donkey Kong shit. It was not about the Donkey Kong shit. And the real case seems to be closer to home than he wants to admit. So he now has this huge judgment. He's talking about appealing it, and I'm almost certain that if he appeals it, then that's going to be fees on fees. He might manage to avoid paying Billy Mitchell a dime for however many months or years even while his appeal is being heard. But I'm almost certain that, because it's the same in the United States, if you are awarded fees and then that person tries to appeal your fees and then they lose that appeal, you get fees on fees. So you owe the money for your lost appeal. And I feel like, especially in appeals court in Australia, that he's going to, if he appeals and loses, he's going to owe even more. And it might be double what he currently owes. You know what I mean? Because the appeals process can take as long as the actual trial, because they have to review this birth of information. So it's a lot, and it's very egotistical. And I feel like what Karl is doing, not that I can get into his mind, but because his videos get so many views and his videos are monetized and he has sponsorships and stuff and affiliate links, I feel like he's calculating his legal strategy around the idea that his income will remain stable or mostly the same. And I don't know if that's going to be the case. I feel like he's personally irritated his own viewers to such an extent that a lot of them who do follow him strictly because of the Billy Mitchell stuff are going to stop watching. So it's hard to say. You know, the YouTube money machine is a very strange beast. It does what it wants. So maybe he is actually making so much money that he can keep playing games in the Australian court for forever. But if he at all relies on stuff like Patreon, I don't know if he does. It doesn't show anything, so yeah, I don't know. It's a risky gamble. It would have been much better to apologize and just move the fuck on, I think. But he's a sore loser, I suppose, and we'll see how it goes. I will definitely talk about this if he does appeal it. Fees on fees. That's the SpongeBob guy, right? You know that? You know Teddyfeeser? He still complains about me. He still goes. He doesn't stream or anything, but he still goes on Twitter and he complains about me. And it's just like, just go away. You have no business being online anymore. Just fuck off. Teddyfeeser, dude, I don't even remember. He's like a Nick Fuentes associate or something, and he streamed on Cozy. And then he became like a pet lolcow of PPP personally because they had some kind. I think Andy Worski was like briefly aligned with, or was friends with, or was associates with Teddyfeeser, and then something happened, and Feezer never got the fuck over it. So PPP has just been making fun of him relentlessly for years, and it's like a guy that nobody on the planet Earth except PPP cares about. And for some reason, Teddyfeeser, instead of just fucking off, stays online and continues to make an ass of himself and see the fact that PPP makes fun of him, and it's a truly bewildering thing. I told PPP, my take on Teddyfeeser is that he's somebody who has all the liability of being an e-celeb without any of the benefits. Like when you become a public figure and you do streams and you talk about stuff and you get viewers and money from your viewers, the downside of this is that you're a public figure and you're scrutinized, you're harassed by weirdos. And Teddyfeeser is somebody who maintains that public profile enough that he is definitely going to get negative attention, but he doesn't make any money of it whatsoever, and he's not even trying to make any money of it. At least with certain people, like fucking Gator doing the Anime Boomers podcast, like you can see that there's this thought that if I just stick it out long enough, I'll develop a dedicated fan base, and then I might actually get somewhere with this. Teddy's not even doing that. He's not streaming at all. So he just shows his ass constantly, gets his ass kicked constantly, and then has absolutely no ambitions of ever, recouping this lost time. It's just like an endless permanent time sink that he never ever will ever get out of. And it's truly like, what the fuck? Why would you choose to do that for yourself ever? I just don't get it, man. He's in too deep. He can walk away from this literally anytime that he wants, and there's no downside. He loses nothing in doing so. I just don't get it. Okay, so I have really big news. I'm probably going to be one of the first people talking about it just because the timing is so perfect. But on Wednesday, this filing came in, and here's where we're at in the Rekieta stuff. So if you don't know, late last year, or the middle of last year, he got arrested for cocaine possession, firearm possession, and the presence of cocaine. And his daughter tested positive for cocaine metabolites in her hair, indicating that she had ingested cocaine in some way at some point. So he went through family court. I think he's getting custody of his children back. It might be supervised custody where they check in on him every so often. He was facing a lot of years in jail because he had so much cocaine on him, but he's a first-time offender. So we were all watching the case, and then eventually he took a plea deal in January, and we've been waiting to see what the terms of the plea deal are. And what he will have to do. And we didn't know what the state had. The state has a pre-sentencing independent body that looks at the facts of a case and suggests to the court on behalf of the prosecutor and the court what the pre-sentencing committee believes that should happen to the defendant. And then the defendant is allowed to argue if that's too harsh, and then the judge makes the final binding decision. So in this, we actually got to glean some details about what the pre-sentencing committee had suggested in the case of Nick Rekieta. And what they had suggested was 30 days in county jail, 80 hours of community service, and 5 years of probation, which is pretty heavy. That is pretty heavy. Nobody expected that he would get a jail sentence at all. He argued that the community service should be dropped, that the jail should be waived, and that the probation should be reduced to 1 year. And supposedly there was going to be a hearing today, and it was unknown when this would come out. But chat, I'm very pleased to inform you that before the stream started, we get the news of the sentences, and it is 30 days in Candy Ojai County Jail, and the 80 hours of community service was upheld, and also the 5 years of probation was upheld. However, caveat, it says here that the 30 days confinement may be deferred with probation. So he is sentenced to serve 30 days in jail in August, but it can be deferred if he complies 100% with probation. In fact, I think that it's contractual. So if he does manage to stay 100% in line with the probation officer and gives them no reason to complain about him whatsoever, then he may be able to avoid any jail time. But it's on the table. It's like the sort of Damocles dangling over his head. And quite frankly, it is embarrassing that he got the sentence at all, because he told people up and down he would serve no jail time, and he's been sentenced to jail time. So literally, if he gives his probation officer any reason whatsoever, they're going to be monitoring him constantly. They're going to be checking his piss at random. They're going to have patches on him that he has to turn in and wear all the time. So if any alcohol is found in his system, if any intoxicants of any kind show up in the system, if he does anything that is against the terms of his probation at all, he is going to jail. And as a matter of fact, chat, at this very moment, I have asked our attorney, so I need to turn that off. I've asked our attorney to submit to the Candy Ojai County Police Department our request for video cam footage. Minnesota state law prohibits the release of footage except where there's consent and except where there is guilt. So now that there is a guilty party, as long as the investigation is formally closed, there is no legal basis for the state of Minnesota or the county to deny us our request. I told you it would be a waiting game, and if they deny us because they have no legal basis, we may be suing them, because I have a feeling that my attorney might be willing to do a little civil rights lawsuit, pro bono, as they say, for the charity and goodwill of all mankind. Chat. I am 100% convinced we're getting that fucking footage. Shouldn't have said that I wouldn't get it, because I'm going to get it. I'm very confident in this. We'll see. It's not 100% in my control, but I'm going to do everything that I can, chat, for you, my audience, for my lovely viewers who deserve to know how their justice system works, and how police interactions are carried out. It's a public service, a public good, on a noteworthy, newsworthy person, chat. And that's the update on Nick Rekieta. We'll see how it goes. This is very brief. This is a very brief little update. This is Corrine Clifford. And if you recognize her, you've been around for way too long, as opposed to when I have to denigrate the Zoomies and say that you're way too young. If you know who this woman is, you've been around way too fucking long. She's in the White House. We'll just play a little video of this. It's not too interesting.
Or are they just going to try to get rid of these 530,000 plus folks, some of whom have been
So she's doing like an in real life stream, right? And is in the White House press pool. And you might be thinking, this is weird. She's effectively an IP2 streamer. And I love the part where I think they show the guys on the stage and they're just kind of like quiet, like looking at her. I want to say there's like no questions. And she's like whispering to her phone. She's the only person doing this. You can see everybody else is minding their man. I'm actually surprised you can even take. Look at the guy. Look at that guy right there. Look how that guy has those strong German, like recessed eyes. And he just has like this fucking Nazi glare that he's shooting Corrine with absolute fucking hate and vitriol that you would see in like a movie for like the evil Nazi guy. That's great. But I think there's a part where the guy is like just quiet and it's really awkward. But you might be thinking, okay, so this old bat is in the White House press pool. There's lots of old bats in the White House press pool. I guess she's doing a live stream. Isn't that a bit silly? If you think that way, if you don't know who she is, this might give you an idea. This is the Kill stream, baby, from 2018, featuring Corrine Clifford, myself, Medicare, and Dick Masterson with Ethan Ralph, who at this time is sober. Actually, I don't even remember if she was. I think that in this video, this is when Ralph just started getting back. I want to say that Ralph is passed out in the second half of this while we're talking to Corrine. I'm pretty sure that I want to say sober Ralph. No, not that far back. Not that far back, chat. We're not going all the way back. We're going back a lot, but not all the way back, chat. So let's. I want to tell you the only thing that I know offhand about Corrine Clifford. This is the only thing that stuck out in memory to me. Let's listen.
Sex life is active.
Oh my god, that was back when I had oh my god, I had that fucking Newgrounds animation, I think from Oni G, as my avatar for Google. I had set that as my avatar when I was like 15, and I never changed it. So when I this is like the first Google Hangout I ever was in, and I had never changed my avatar, so I still had this as my picture. That's funny.
Sex life is active. Yeah, my sex life is active.
How active?
With a capital A.
I mean, a capital A and C, or just a capital A?
A capital A.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, a capital STD is more like it.
Ooh, there's no STDs, let me tell you that. I have the best doctor in Beverly Hills. You know what he says you use? Colloidal silver.
What does that mean?
Colloidal silver is the key to the world.
What?
You're gonna be blue.
Wait, what, Corinne? What did you say?
You use colloidal, so I go to the best, most expensive doctor in Beverly Hills. He doesn't even take insurance.
Yeah.
And you buy $80 bottles of colloidal silver.
Oh, this
and
is
you'll never get an STD.
Colloidal silver? How often do you take colloidal silver?
You put it inside of you and around you after you have sex.
What do you mean? I can't hear these savages are laughing.
Exactly. You buy an $80, and I'll give Ralph one for free, but he's married, so I doubt he cheats. But
Okay.
anyway.
You know, I've heard a lot about silver from Alex Jones. Do you happen to know Alex Jones by any chance?
I love Alex Jones. I want to fuck Alex Jones. He's hot. I like him.
What do you think's hot about him?
Okay, so if you didn't pick up on that, colloidal silver is a controversial supplement. Silver naturally really does have antibiotic properties, which is why a lot of medical stuff is often coated in a silver or silver alloy, because bacteria, for whatever reason, cannot survive on silver. So there is a theory that if you take colloidal silver, which is I think a different alloy, or it's like liquefied or something, if you take it as a supplement, you'll benefit your health. However, there's a little quirk with colloidal silver. Your body can't process it. It doesn't go away. So that silver, which has a natural bluish tinge to it, never leaves your body. It's not toxic. It doesn't hurt you, but it ends up in your like fat repositories. So if you take it over a long enough time, you turn blue. Literally. If you look it up, you'll find people who are blue because they take colloidal silver supplements every day. Corrine says that she uses it as an anti-STI cream. So she puts colloidal silver in her vagina, chat. Now, I don't know. I don't think anyone on the planet Earth except Corrine and the people that have fucked Corrine know this. I don't know how colloidal silver interacts with the vagina. So there's a good chance, there's a non-zero chance that this woman has a blue vagina. And hopefully we never, ever find out. But there is a non-zero chance that that is the case. And she like did in real life live streaming where she went around like, I want to say like the streets of Compton with her selfie stick out and talked to the text to speech, and they were blasting out racist music, and she got like mugged by a black guy while she was there. She somehow did not die. And then yeah, she like disappeared off the face of the fucking earth for a while. I think she had to do her own podcast, and now she's in the White House press pool. So just as a little bit of a backdrop onto the crazy world that we live in, we now live in such a timeline that Blue Vagina Lady is in the White House press pool doing in real life streaming next to the press secretary of the United States of America. Well, that's your Corrine update. I'll message you about him again or her again in, I don't know, another 10 years, I guess. We'll see. Next. Yesterday was a very special day, Chad. A very special day celebrated by Kiwis far and wide. It is Bossman Jack's 30th birthday, which unfortunately he is not spending with us, his adoring fans. He is spending in a rehab facility. So, If you want to go through his thread, I would highly recommend it. Let's see what this clip is, actually. I didn't play this.
Not here, bro. Look at
this. just violence. Just some nice violence. So he's in the facility, right? And they took away his phone. Unfortunately, he was streaming some Gamba sesh in the rehab facility. And if you don't know, he's actually been ordered to court-ordered rehab like 8 times. And now this is like a full-on inpatient. If you really fuck this up, you're going to jail probably for years. So he's in jail, or he's in the rehab, and he was doing a little bit of Discord streaming. Unfortunately, some Discord fag rats, reported him to the rehab facility and got his phone taken away. However, for his birthday, this most auspicious of occasions, he was back on the online, back streaming, and back on the Gamba. In fact, he ran up $5,000 in one Gamba sesh on his birthday, which must be quite fun for him. The sneaking suspicion is that he told the rehab facility that it was his birthday today, and he wanted to call his parents to talk to them because it was his birthday, and they gave him his phone, and then instead of calling his parents, he decided that he would go to BetBolt and do a little Gamba. Let's take a look at that Gamba. This is not the big win I was hoping for. This is just him showing that he's betting, I guess. I thought that he ran up 5,000. That's what I was told by the Bossman Jack people. Let's see. I was told that he ran up $5,000. I guess he's like still active, and that's what they're talking about. He's probably lost all that fucking money. Did they make this up? I'm gonna yell at them. I'm gonna yell at them right fucking now, actually. Did you guys make up the $5,000? You fuckers. No? What happened to the $5,000? Where in the post? What post? He doesn't even say this. No, that was his 29th birthday. There is no video. The post with the clip. Did I skip this? He says he came up. He was doing $1,000 mines, and he came up. Oh, that's why he posted the video, because his balance is $5,600. Okay, that was not clear to me, but now I understand. He did, in fact, on his birthday. The Kino chat did not let me down. They were right. So he ran up $5,500 on his birthday, doing a little Gamba sesh. Really? Chad, I gotta say, what a birthday. What a birthday. Nobody, in fact, nobody, I would say, could have a better birthday than Bossman Jack this week. But maybe, Stalker Child, you're wrong. Somebody could have a better birthday. In fact, it is my birthday, Stalker Child. How old is he? How does he turn? It doesn't even say how old he is. How old is Patrick? I thought it would be in the post. Oh, 45th. Dude, I have like deer blindness. I can see everything in every direction, every little branch snapping, every blade of grass tousled, but the shit right in front of my fucking face hitting me like a car. I can't see it. 45th birthday for Patrick. Yes, Tomlinson child. I think this guy went through his Twitter timeline to tally up what he's been doing. So this is his birthday, and he is on the Xitter, seething, as he fucking does. I'm going to preload all these images so I can scan through them the next time around. Thankfully, the site is working. Oh my god, there's so many fucking images. This are all tweets. Every single one of these is a screenshot of tweets that he has made yelling at his haters. You're never going to see daylight. This is him on his birthday. You're never going to see daylight again, Stalker. Was it worth it? Enjoy prison. I have never been without a job, Stalker. Not for a single day. These are your delusions again. Enjoy prison. You chose how this ended for you a long time ago, Stalker. Enjoy prison. You're only getting worse, Stalker. Enjoy prison. Wrong as always, Stalker. Enjoy prison. Your life concludes now with a cage, Stalker. Enjoy prison. Which apparently adds up to... 330 enjoy prisons since April 1st, I believe. And then in the last 2 weeks, or the last 2 weeks of March, he put out another 247 enjoy prisons. Most of these are copy paste, I think. It's hard to tell. A lot of these posts look like copy paste, but then every so often he has a message that has a typo in it, and it's like, holy shit, he writes these out every single time. Mustangs are not an entry-level small car and are still being produced, stalker. This is why your life is already over. Enjoy prison. Guilty! Guilty, motherfucker! Mustangs are not entry-level sports cars. Bang, bang, bang. And by the way, I had a friend. He was a car person. And he liked wigger cars. He liked souping up old cars. He liked ricing shitty economy cars. And this guy, for the time that I knew him, every single time we were driving somewhere and he saw a Mustang on the road, he would point at that Mustang and say, "Look at that shitty Mustang." He hated Mustangs with every fiber of his being. And he would make fun of them because, when you step on the gas in a Mustang, the engine goes, but it doesn't go anywhere. That's the sad thing. Is the engine and the going forward are supposed to be proportional in terms of sound and speed. But when the Mustang, and then you're like, you're rolling alongside the Honda Civic and they're not really going anywhere fast. So he would always, if he saw that, he would say, "Oh my God, look at that car. All noise, no muscle," he would say. Constantly making fun of the Mustang, chat. And then the last time I spoke to him many years ago, he said that he had bought a Mustang. And he said, actually, they're not so bad anymore. I'm like, you piece of shit. I had to hear how much you fucking hated Mustangs for 3 fucking years, every fucking day. And then you go out and you buy a fucking Mustang. A traitor, I know. You betrayal. You betrayed me. Everybody in my life has betrayed me, chat. What is with that? What have I done to be Judas on such a regular basis? Let's see. 4,876 enjoy prisons. That's his total running talent. I guess for the year? I don't know. I don't know how long it's been going back. The childing report. So this is 37 child. He's calmed down on his childing, I think. No, child. They did exactly none of those things. Hush now. Adults are speaking. No, child. It wasn't. No, child. He wasn't. You are the product, child. That's not how anything works, child. I only trigger at the range, child. You've already been dismissed. I perform on a stage, child. This isn't one. Go pay Uncle Ilan another $11 or whatever he's charging you fucking losers this month so he can keep pretending to be important. No, child, it didn't happen. No, Doge did not find a solitary penny of fraud. You are an idiot. Garcia escaped El Salvador as a child. He is not and was never a gang member. You, however, are a Nazi. Excellent. So I think Bossman Jack said, I gotta be real with you. I think that our boy Bossman is having a better birthday. Is he what's his handle again? Stealthy Geek. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna check this real quick. I'm gonna see if he's active on Xitter as we speak, chat. As we speak, as the stream is ongoing. Do I have any account that's not blocked by him is the question. Actually, you can see tweets if you're blocked. From Stealthy Geek. Latest. 1 hour ago, the Supreme Court disagrees, Nazis. An American citizen has been jailed by ICE. His mother produced his birth certificate and social security card to the court, and the judge agreed they were genuine, agreed he is a U.S. citizen, agreed the detainment is unlawful, and does not have jurisdiction to order his release. Sorry for her daughter's death, but this is racist as fuck. This woman is trash. My name is not Jen, stalker. Jennifer is her own person, living her own life, something no longer available to you due to your obsessive crimes against my family. This is why your life is already over. Enjoy prison. You chose to conclude your life with a cage long ago, stalker. Enjoy prison. This is why your life is already over, Dan. Enjoy prison. Excellent. This is all from the last 2 hours. Oh my God, he had posts 5 hours ago. So it was What, like, I can't do math. 7 a.m. He woke up 7 a.m. on his own birthday and decided, no, child, would be how he spends it. Yeah, send the stalker children to a maximum detainment facility in El Salvador. That's exactly right. That's a good idea. Okay. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I got a message. I wanted to make sure I didn't say anything stupid. One other thing. One other person is having a blessed Good Friday, chat. You want to guess who? You want to guess who? If you guessed Ethan Oliver Ralph, you're right. My free speech rights have been restored to the benefit of my stream, chat. He can now write even more. I haven't seen my daughter Roseanne in almost 2 years. No updates, nothing. I do not blame my estranged wife. I blame myself for the things not working out, even though there were other forces wanting that outcome. It was on me in the end. I had the winning hand and wasted it. I still love her and wish her the best. I simply want to move on and see my daughter. I helped raise her for a year, paid for her life, and was there when she was born. My name is on her birth certificate. I have frequent documented visits with my son. None had been bad. They had all been glowing, in fact. There are written reports that show this. There is no reasonable legal reason to prevent me from seeing Rosie. I love her so much, and I have missed her every day since June 2023. I hope that in the near future, this can be settled in a way that everyone can be comfortable with. I will never give up on any of my children, as I have proven with my son, Alexander. Well, it's nice to see Ralph acknowledge that he has a daughter. I think he's trying to say that he couldn't acknowledge that he had a daughter at any point in the last 2 years, which is fucking bullshit. He definitely does not care about Rosie as much as he cares about his son, because woman chat cringe. Let me see if I can find this. Oh man, is this like lost media? I'm never going to be able to find this. Oh, you know what? I bet you it's in the OP. I kind of feel like I owe you guys, because some of you haven't been around long enough to know who May is. Yeah, here's her thread. It has like a properly revamped OP. And I want to say that it's somewhere in it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, man. Suffer, chat. So, shout outs to all the people that watch VTubers. Here is a candidate for your Oshi, actually. This is Amanda Morris, the wife being discussed in this post, applying for a position at Hollow Live, chat. Let's listen to a second of it, shall we? Let's just take a trip down memory lane, since I'm going to be talking about anime more than I would fucking want to today anyways. Oh, you guys might be saved. You guys might be saved. Hold up. Let me try closing out the tab on the main browser. Oh, we got the intro, and then we got the intro, and then it's going to cuck me out. Like, it's, oh, fuck. See, I even went to all the links to, like, download this shit before the stream started. But, okay, we're going to come back to this. Wait, okay. I just needed to download, like, a second. If I can just download, like, a second of this, I'll be happy. Oh, it's downloading, chat. It's downloading.
Everyone, I just wanted to check in with you all. I think it's day 19, right? Today's video is only going to be up for the people in the Discord. Yeah, it's going to be an audition tape for HoloLive because they're doing their English VTuber auditions. So I submitted.
She could have been your Oshi. Tonight. If only they had listened.
It's supposed to be like a 5-minute.
There's a timeline where instead of getting impregnated by a pig monster, Amanda is your Oshi VTuber people.
Video basically explaining why you should be a VTuber. So you have kind of a lot of wiggle room, but I hope you guys find the video fun.
Do it.
And
do it. Do the thing.
Informative? I don't know. I've been trying to avoid the internet a lot today because I want to actually get, some work
Stop
done.
talking and show the audition tape.
I definitely am somebody who will get sucked into like weird drama, but it's been so amazing to see all the support you guys have given Conrad and me, because like it's just a really...
Conrad is Digibro, by the way, who went on the Dick Show and said that he likes, literally word for word, he says, I like the idea of little girls getting fucked or something.
Exciting but confusing time. But yeah, I'm excited to be kind of opening up about that stuff. I
do the
still
thing,
identify
fucking
as
bent. Oh my god, she's still talking.
Audition out before.
She's still talking.
Or really, what you'll be something like that. So literally made for me. Make my day into tomorrow. There will be.
She's still talking.
Ash Vampire and Michelle will be there.
She's
too.
still talking.
And we're gonna be talking about hippos.
We're 3 minutes in.
Because I'm down or anything, but we'll see. Yeah. So.
Is this it?
I do want to.
Oh my god!
Like,
she's still talking.
Bald channels. Also, would like to start making maybe something to do on 2D or 3D or both. But
is this it?
I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Oh, thank God!
Enjoy the audition clip. Bye.
No, this is it.
Konnichiwa.
Yeah. 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 Suffer.
Yeah. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the audition clip. Bye. Konnichiwa, hello live from Virginia Beach. My name is Pantsu Party, aka Amanda Morris, and I'm a YouTuber slash creative individual slash someone who identifies with being born into the wrong dimension. Tragically, I just truly do not fit into the third dimension, so...
Dude, there's a real world Japanese businessman in Hollow Live, which I think is the biggest of all the VTuber agencies, who sat down and had to watch this fucking clip at least for a second. I want you to imagine what his face... Dude, imagine... we need the archive of all the submissions for VTuber applications. Can you imagine the wealth of content that sits on a HoloLive server right now somewhere in fucking Japan? It must be the worst thing ever assembled by a human being, ever, for any reason.
Wow. As you can see, I'm a goofy girl who really embraces being themselves, and I love to try new things. I am really good at technology. I pick up on things really fast. Just within this past month,
she picks up pig semen
Adobe
very fast too.
And I've learned how to use that software to edit tons of videos. Actually, a video every day for this whole month of May. So please check that out on Pantsu Party if you want to see more of what I'm like and what kind of things I come up with. I mainly like to focus on anime-related.
This woman is raising a daughter right now. Ralph deliberately impregnated this person.
Japanese. I love gaming. I was super obsessed with Animal Crossing when it came out. I'd love to do lots of like sandboxing.
Okay, I'll end it there. I just want to make everybody suffer. When I don't make my chat suffer, they get uppity. That's how it works. You got to put them in their place every so often. All right. This is a bit of a toss-up. If I want to talk about the 4chan hack first or iDubbbz first. You know what? I think that I'm going to do the 4chan. Since we're already in the fucking VTuber realm, I've already penetrated that bubble. I have something to say. I'm a little bit peeved about this. Let's put this on stream. This is fan art from somebody named Lawgiver. I showed some fan art from him on, not fan art for the stream, but he did like a custom drawing for for the Gordoverse, I think, where it was like a diagram of all the associations of the Gordoverse, and it was cute. And I showed it on my stream, and he was very happy about it. So when the 4chan hack thing happened, he went out of his way to make some fan art for like a segment banner for this. And I said, I will use this because it's the only appropriate time to use something like this. And as I mentioned, art is downstream from culture. If you don't have art, you don't have culture. I received, after I said I would use this, a letter from a viewer who may be listening, hello, who said that she was going to stop supporting me in my endeavors as a combination of things. One, I timed out a user for 7 days for getting into a slap fight. 2, I opened the VTuber board. 3, I have been handling the 4chan thing by being welcoming to people who want to start posting on the Kiwi Farms. And the final straw, I said that I would use this on my stream. And she said that my appeal is that I don't enable man children who watch anime shit. And I find that very offensive and frustrating because the Kiwi Farms is small. The Kiwi Farms is a very small site. And we are beset by very big enemies who are well funded. And we cannot survive as a small site. We need as many people to like us as possible so that when shit happens to us, we don't get the Internet Archive treatment of, ha ha ha, you fucking deserve it. We need everybody to be like, this is a place that really does want to grow and to accommodate people. And as I've mentioned, the LiveTuber people have always been good with my requests. And this image in particular is a reference to something that is funny to me and is like a throwback to things that I care about because I was on 4chan as a teenager. If you don't know, 4chan was hacked. And when it was hacked, the guy had access to everything. And he basically had administrator access. He did a lot of stuff that I'll cover, but he had access to the Hiroyuki admin account. And he also set up QA. If you don't know, a long time ago, when Hiroyuki first bought 4chan, he set up a board called Q&A because one of the big complaints that 4chan had at the time is that there was no communication between staff and users. Users felt bullied by the moderators. Their opinions weren't being heard. There was no changes that they wanted to see be done. So Hiroyuki tried to set out on a good foot forward and open Q&A to accommodate what should be very obvious, that you need a place to communicate with the people who run the thing that you use. So he set it up. And then he abandoned it around 2019. And after he abandoned it, and after all mods stopped using it and communicating with users, it became a cesspit of shit posting, in particular of Wojak memes that became soyjacks. And when they shut down QA because it was just this cesspit of fucking soyjacks, that was like a cyst bursting or cancer metastasizing, and it became the soyjack party. Years later, one of the soyjack party users hacks 4chan, opens the QA board, says QA fucking won, shuts down the LGBT board on 4chan, completely deletes it before, and then leaks out everything that was on the, almost everything that was on the server. And in particular, they posted on the QA a song, and they posted a picture of Hatsune Miku dancing. And I thought that this was really endearing because the song is like some Tuhu music. And then Hatsune Miku is like one of the most normal fag anime characters ever. And it just felt so 2000s to me. Like if 4chan had gotten hacked in the 2000s, this is exactly what they would do. It was very, very endearing. And I warmed up to the Soyjack people a lot. And on both the 4chan thread, I put the same GIF that was on the page and the song that was on the page onto the top of the thread. Because it was just, it's like fucking memories for me. The site and the way that it was done and what they chose to put on it was just like, I know this. I've lived through this and shit. So I was very enamored by this. I thought it was funny. And but in regards to the VTuber board, one of the VTubers that's like one of the most prominent lolicon VTubers, Shando, was phone booked for the first time. And that is the direct result of people on that board and in the forum not being content with lolicon culture from 4chan. And if you don't know who Shando is, by the way, I played this on stream once. I'll play it for you again because I think that you should hear it.
I don't know. I know that if a guy tried to rape me, I would probably get raped. I'm not very strong, you know. I'm kind of defenseless. I'm just a weak little girl. There's not too much I can do. It's not exactly a choice, okay?
By the way, in case you're wondering, if there's any doubt about what this character is going for, she has a way to edit her character to have a literal fucking pacifier in her mouth. So let's not mince words. Let's not pretend that this isn't what it is, because it is. And I've heard people try to say that's her real voice. If you think that's her real voice, you are a fucking mark. You are put on this earth to be bilked for your fucking money by people smarter than you. Because, no, she does not sound like that. And by the way, this is also one of Gator's Oshis. Shout outs to Gator. Gator, I'm sorry, Gator. It happened again to your Oshis, Gator. Whoops. And then, by the way, the only people who would ever choose the Kiwi Farms over alternative image boards are people who are either A, looking for something safe for work, or B, looking for something without lolicon explicitly. Because even in the VTuber board, it's explicit. You cannot have any kind of lolicon VTubers. Like they just don't belong in the board. And I can prove to you that 4chan people looking for a place to post won't come to the Kiwi Farms, because this is a website that's managed by Mark Mahan. Mark Mahan is the Jewish guy that owned a V on 8chan when I worked with 8chan. Mark is extremely Jewish. He basically looks like a fucking goblin. He looks like one of the bankers from Harry Potter. And everyone hated him when he ran V on 8chan. But running V on 8chan was basically his only thing that he's ever done in his entire life. So when 8chan went to shit, he reached out to me when I started 9chan to try and move his community over to a different V, or set up like a backup or something. But he had two conditions. The first was that he must have V. I was going to have a rule that any user-owned board must be 4 letters or longer to distinguish it from official managed boards. He insisted that he would have V, and that he would manage it exclusively by himself with no oversight. And I told him, I said, look, if you're going to have one of the official boards on my website, I have to have some opinions over it. And the second thing that Mark wanted from me was lolicon. He said that there must be lolicon on V. It must be a not safe for work board that allowed lolicon explicitly. Because at the time, I was going to try and quarantine lolicon to its own board so that it wouldn't, it wouldn't drive off people wanting to use the site and not see that shit. So he had an issue with that, and I couldn't. I just said no. I turned him away. He offered to bring all of his users from 8chan over to 9chan if I would agree to that, and I told him no. So he moved to a different fork of 8chan. And now that 8chan's dead and 4chan's down, as you can see, it had 140 posts per hour on the day before the hack. Then it skyrocketed to 1,600. Then it hit 4,000. And then yesterday it was at 4,500. So all the people who want a place for lolicon and for porn, they went over there to be under Mark. They did not come to the Kiwi Farms. Because why would they? I don't want a pornographic website. So this person, it's just so frustrating to me. Like I gave people their own space. I gave her their own space. I gave the women the board that they moderate basically under their own rules that no other area on the site is under. I gave people who abide by my rules elsewhere their own space. And then when people come over and they're interested in a site that doesn't have lolicon on it, I gave them space too. And I entertained it because, number one, it's my people. I know these people. I posted on 4chan for years. And it's just so frustrating that someone's going to be like, actually, I am withdrawing my support of you because you stuck by your principles, the way that you treat everybody. So that really dowered my entire mood. I felt like I should address it. I'm not I don't want to run an image board, but if there are good people who want to come over and post on the forum, we need that. We need as much fresh blood as we can. We need support. We need popular support. We need people to not hate us. We need somebody somewhere to not fucking hate us so that when the hammer drops, we have some kind of defense chat. Frustrating. Anyways, so as part of the leak, now that I've spent my entire half just complaining about that, for the most part, the 4chan people have been great, but I've banned only three people for being rape fugees. Everybody else, completely fine. No issues whatsoever. The hack included the source code, by the way, and the source code for 4chan is decrepit. The entire site operates through an imageboard.php that is 10,403 lines long, and there is probably code in here that has not been touched since 15 plus years ago. Probably actually all the way back to when what is it? It's like Futaba, when Futaba was rewritten into 4chan. In the early 2000s. I would bet you fucking money there's stuff that has not been changed since those days. In fact, probably, if I had to guess, the algorithm for the basic trip code probably has not changed since Futaba in the 2000s, at least. So that was shocking. And the big issue with this is that if the site was hacked, it's down. It's still down to this day. And if there are other exploits in this code, anyone can find them now. This code has not been reviewed. It's not been open source. It hasn't had any kind of oversight into how it runs. So if they find more exploits in the code, then the site will be hacked again. So they're in a really difficult place where they basically have to audit a 20-year-old PHP file that's 10,000 lines long to try and head off any attacks that are definitely being researched. There's already people for sure that are looking into how 4chan works to try and find a way to break into it as soon as it goes back up. So they're in a really bad position. And additionally, all the janitor emails were leaked. All the janitors and mods had their emails leaked. So they, people have been looking into it as they do. Surprise, surprise. There are literal Janny trannies. I know that TV is really popular. I know that TV in particular really fucking hates their mods. I'd like to introduce you to E7711, aka SK. She, beautiful woman, of course, is one of your mods. And if you've ever been a 3-day ban from TV, there's a non-zero chance that this was the person who actioned it. So all the suspicions of Janny trannies is in fact confirmed. And hopefully they can recover, because as it turns out, there was a private board called J that was for the janitors. And here's a nice little post about mental health check by anonymous janitor. Hello, everyone. I understand that we've all been janitors and moderators for a varying amount of time, but I also want to acknowledge that we are all in this together for the site and the users. This post is to represent something that I want to put out there for everyone. How is your mental health? I understand that we are exposed to the most abhorrent nonsense users have to offer, and I want to make sure that everyone is doing okay. Sometimes the stuff posted on the site can get to a person, myself included, with things in their personal life and all that, and that get posted online. Recently in my life, there have been a lot of changes, like moving away from family and friends and adjusting to a new way of life. A new way of life, huh? What kind of life? So what I ask of you is, how are you doing? So the Jannies doing mental health checks on each other, as they do. Because after all, they're loved and adored by their users. Rape Ape, who uses the handle Grape Ape now, because if you don't know, Rape Ape was like an old slur for a black person on B, way back when. From my understanding, Rape Ape has been one of the core maintainers of 4chan since the Moot days. Even when I used 4chan, I never cared about the staff, so I never paid attention. But from what I understand, he's been around for a long time. And he's probably the closest person to a person who understands how the site actually works. So Rape Ape actually sent out a big email to all the moderators, basically letting them know that they got fucked. That he completely fucked them. I think he even mentions the forum at some point. Yeah, here. Odds are the contents of this email will be posted on Shardy and Kiwi Farms shortly after I send, but I don't care. They want to make fun of me for appreciating the 4chan team. They can go right ahead. I think you're all wonderful, but I don't care who knows. I think there's a word. Here we go. This is just delusional. 4chan's users might not show it openly, but I know they appreciate what you do as well. I think they'll appreciate you even more when 4chan returns, as now they've had a time to feel 4chan's absence, and absence makes the heart go fonder. If this is fucking real, and I guess there's a chance it's not, this is the most delusional fucking thing I have ever fucking written. In fact, when people go back to 4chan, they're going to fucking hate the Jannies more than they've ever hated Jannies in their entire life. Because right now, these people are getting shock therapy. They're being dumped into sites that don't treat them the way that 4chan's moderators routinely treat all their users. So now they're going to go back to 4chan, having experienced what it's like to be on a site, regardless of where they go, where they have a little bit more leeway. And they're going to have utter fucking contempt for any people that give them automatic 3-day bans. And there's so much, like, if you put me in position, and by the way, my rate, if Hiroyuki wants me on this, and I can do it, I'm the best. I have the experience, and I have, in terms of coding, servers, networking, user management, I can do it all. My rate, I started at $144,000, and I want a percentage of the pass income. Here's what I would do. Number one, I would fix all this shit. I can do it. Number two, fire all the Jannies, including Rape Ape. He sucks. This letter is embarrassing, and it takes no accountability. Number three, reduce the minimum ban time from 3 days to like an hour. Almost never is a 3-day ban warranted. And number 4, unban all the IPs that are permanently fucking banned, because it's almost impossible to use the site. Like, everything is fucking banned. And just doing that, just let people post for a while. And then number 4, by the way, integrate photo DNA or Cloudflare's CSAM detection. And that would solve a lot of your issues. I could do it. But I'm going to be paid a lot of money for it, is my thing. But no, just if they try to just go back to the way things were, I don't know if the site can survive that. I mean, I guess it will, because the main thing with 4chan, as I've discovered, is that people on 4chan, they don't use it like a forum. Like, you might think that there's boards, and those are like allegories for forums, and then they have threads, and you might think that those threads are allegories for like forum threads, but they're really not. The way that people use 4chan is a chat room. They go into a chat room that's dedicated to a topic, and that thread, like a thread on the forum, is very much a thread about that topic. And people who stray too far off topic are shunted back on topic. Off topic stuff is deleted, and people might get thread banned. On 4chan, they don't really have that. So if they want to talk to the same people, they can't just red rover together to a different thread and discuss it where it's more on topic, because it's anonymous. So they just stay in these generals. And there was a thing I remember, like I think it was in VG, where they had a Homestuck general, and it was like 20 people, and they basically just, like, Homestuck is a dead franchise. There's no content updates, but they had been posting in the Homestuck general for like 15 fucking years. Because from my understanding, like, it was a very long running comic series. So people would make generals about it. They would talk about it. And those same people have been talking to each other about Homestuck for a decade or more, and they don't know each other. They're anonymous. So they just post in the one general thread over and over again. And then, of course, they keep doing that once the content runs out, because those are their friends. They like each other. They like talking to each other. And then the Jannies, they get uppity about this, and they go, these people are they're just using it like a chat room, and the thing's dead, so we're going to delete it. So they banned the Homestuck general thread. And those people, just like the QA shardy people, chimp the fuck out and shit up the entire fucking site for weeks and weeks and weeks. And it's like, that's what happens when you don't understand how people use your site. They don't use it to discuss Homestuck. They use it to talk to each other, because they've talked to each other for 15 fucking years about Homestuck. That's why. And yeah, and it's frustrating to see how it's managed and how they don't understand their product, basically. So fuck the Jannies, is what I'm getting at. It is still down to this right now, even. And my theory is that it's going to stay down for a very long time, maybe weeks, because I don't think anybody on Earth knows how to actually install 4chan on a server from scratch and bring it up. Like, not off the top of their head. Like, if you shut down the Kiwi Farms and deleted the server that the Kiwi Farms is on, it would take me maybe 6 hours to get it entirely set back up 100% again. And that's from scratch, because I've done it multiple times, and I know how everything works, and I can do it, in an evening. I don't think anybody has ever done that to 4chan. I don't think anyone has ever reinstalled 4chan. And my base is off this. The guy that hacked the site posted a screenshot of the bash, the console, showing that the hacker had obtained root. And it's running FreeBSD, which is pretty base. Running FreeBSD is pretty base. I got to give it to Moot, because Moot was the one who installed it when he owned the site 10 years ago. But Hiroyuki, ever since then, has apparently not done that. And what's a shocker is that if you look up the version that they're using, FreeBSD 10.1, when software is released, they give it a life that they're going to maintain it. They promise you that they're going to maintain it and give it upgrades and security updates for however many years. FreeBSD reached end of life in 2016, and it last received a security patch in 2019. And what's even more shocking than that is that they use something called Ghostscript. Ghostscript is a tool for managing PDF files. And there were 3 different boards that nobody uses on 4chan that use PDFs. PDFs are notoriously dangerous. Notoriously dangerous. If you do any PDF processing on a server, you have to isolate that shit. You have to run it in fucking Docker all by itself because it's just it's the biggest piece of shit, and everyone fucking knows this. I think even 8chan got hacked at some point through a PDF exploit in the exact same way. The version of GhostScript that they used to process PDF files to generate thumbnails was updated last in 2012. A 13-year-old version of one of the most dangerous components of any kind of media processing system. That is how fucking out of date it was. Nobody on 4chan knows how the fuck it works. So they're going to take forever to not only figure out how the software works, figure out how to reinstall it, figure out how to reset it up, because they have to. You cannot fix the server. You have to reformat it from scratch. And supposedly they have new hardware that they're already setting up. So they're going to have to set up the hardware, choose an operating system, and then if there's any discrepancy between the way that Moot had it set up and whatever shit that he was doing to get it working and FreeBSD, they have to translate that to Linux. Then they have to reinstall the database. Do they keep database backups? Are we going to see 4chan completely wiped back to zero? Do they remember the last post numbers of all the boards? Are those going to be lost? Surely there's a backup somewhere, but there's no promise of that. So who knows? Then what about the static content? Is that lost? They're going to have to set that up again. Then they're going to have to find any exploits that are in the code itself that could be exploited that don't rely on GhostScript, because now any kind of actual server-side exploit that doesn't rely on a third-party application like GhostScript is going to have to be patched. How long is that going to take? It could take weeks. And they could bring it back up and it could be immediately hacked again. So they're really in a terrible position. This is very unenviable. This is a fucking nightmare. And it's not even like a nightmare as a result of like an oversight. It's a nightmare as a result of like over a decade of complete inaction. And it's just bizarre. And I think that's all I have to say about that. There was a rumor that there were .gov janitor emails. That's not the case. The only thing that I saw that was suspicious was that there was one janitor who had the email address with the name Shitwood in it. And if you're a 4chan user, you know that Mike Shitwood was a law enforcement officer in Florida who actually subpoenaed and arrested 2 different 4chan users for posting threats against him. So I don't know. I think it's just a coincidence, though. I think that they've looked it up, and Mike does not have a son with that name. But it's very coincidental that there was a guy called Shitwood who was on the moderator team. There was not a government email. I saw the list of email addresses. There was not a .gov. It was just a rumor. And then the hacker said that he was not going to release any payment information or anything about the pass holders. So any pass owners, I guess, are safe from having data leaked. He said that he was like afraid of if he leaked any kind of information about that, it would become like a serious FBI investigation for like a financial crime. So he's trying to avoid that, basically. There is .edu. If you have a list that has gov on it, you have downloaded that list from a third party that added it. I have seen the original leak. There is no .gov. And then, he leaked also a bunch of little extras. And one thing I saw that stood out to me was that in the CAPTCHA generation code, there was there were API endpoints, so it's hard to see how it integrated. But there were API endpoints to add fake letters to the CAPTCHA. And it made me suspicious that they had it set up where if you were like discouraged but not banned, it would add fake letters to your CAPTCHA to make the CAPTCHA impossible to solve. And that's how they would like silently ban people through frustration. I don't know if that's true. That's my suspicion, but that is, I did see it. They have that in the system. Oh my God, people in chat saying I knew it. That's funny. I'm glad that I've confirmed some suspicions. Yes, the Janny trainings were adding you to the secret broken CAPTCHA list. 100% true. That is so funny. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that that was like a meme on 4chan because I just looked at the code. I'm like, that's weird. They have a way to add fake letters. That's bizarre. And now I know. Apparently, it's a real thing. Conspiracies are never wrong. It doesn't look that way. Okay. Okay. Let me take a big sip of water. And if I missed anything, now's your chance to shout it in chat in regards to the 4chan thing. Any kind of questions as my experience of an admin either. Will Moot come back? No. Moot despises 4chan. He's super lefty now. Is 4chan come back soon? No, it's not. A nerd explanation on a noob level? I think I did. Just in general, they were using really outdated software and it made it super easy to exploit it through negligence, basically. I think, as I said, I don't think 4chan is dead. I think that it might lose a lot of its momentum because I don't think that anybody involved in 4chan has the gumption to make the changes that it really needs. And the user base that exists on 4chan are very loyal to it, in part not because they're loyal to the site, but as I mentioned, their friends are anonymous people that post in certain generals that they find like the reason why certain threads are comfy to people, like that word gets thrown around, oh man, I love the XYZ general because it's so comfy. The reason why it's comfy is that you've posted there and you get along with the people there, and even though you don't know who they are, you're friends with them in an indirect way. And that's why threads become uncomfy when you get the shitzoids, because those are people that, if they were on the Kiwi Farms disrupting a thread, they would be thread banned for being a nuisance, and then the comfiness would return. But you can't coordinate, you can't move to a Discord with those people, you can't, you can't find each other. So a lot of people are going to go back to generals, I think, as soon as the site's back up, because they need each other, Not that they need each other, just they're friends, and that's normal behavior. A lot of people are, like, sad that, like, even people who use the forum regularly are sad because they like their certain generals. In particular, if I had my choice, chat, my pick of the litter, in the business, Biz was my favorite board before the Pajits took it over. I would love to see PMG move over to the Kiwi Farms. Check it out. If you like gold and silver, and you like meme coins, well, you know what? I've made my own meme coins. I've gone around Europe to different flea markets buying all the Reichsmarks that I can possibly find. I now have a literal fucking treasure chest. If you think that's based, come on over. You're very welcome. Regardless of what certain people negging me in my own email before my stream have to say about it. Show the clink. Oh man, I put the box away. Sorry. Here, you know what? Just for the shill, chat. Just for the shill, real quick. Real quick, chat. 1 second. There. Okay. Let's shake it around just a little bit. Hear it? Ugh. On the first layer, I have nothing but junk. Actually, I don't have just junk. I have some silver there too. I used to just have junk stuff, but now I have silver. Let's see. Get a nice little ting. What is this? Oh, this is a half Reichsmark, basically the size of a dime in the US, from the Kaiserreich, not the 1913, so World War I era. See if I can ting this very gently, chat. Ah, I dropped it. I dropped it into felt, though. It's okay. Turn off the limiter. And I'm going to use... This is 2 francs from Switzerland, 1964. Too small. Let's get a bigger one. Okay, this is Try on Hansestadt, Hamburg from Drymark. Drymark is very rare. They didn't make many 3s. And this is 1912. This is older than the other one. This is beautiful. I didn't realize how nice this one is. I don't want to take this one. It's too nice. Let's take this nicely tarnished 5 Reichsmark from the war. And oh yeah, that's the good stuff. You hear that? That's the good stuff, chat. Okay. I do like my coins. I can't wait. If I ever get disposable income again, I'm buying more coins, chat. Put it away. I also, in that box, I have 3 comics from Rusty Cage. That's another thing I want to review. Sven Stoffels is putting out his new comic book. I'm going to get a copy of that. So I want to review that for locals, and then I want to review the Rusty Cage comics. I've never read them. They're still in their plastic sleeves. Cool. Sticks, Hacks, and Hammer coming to play them. Arr! The Kiwi Farms admin have a treasure chest of booty. Arr! Let's go get fucked up and wasted on some rum. Rum, the finest rum. And we'll take some blood for a sacrifice. Arr! If you don't know what the fuck that's a reference to, it's Sticks, who dresses like a gay pirate. All right. Hamstery, Miku are dismissed forever and ever. Despite the trouble you've caused me, the money you've taken out of my wallet, that little hamster Miku put their little fingers in my wallet and stuck out a $5 from it. Chat. That's the reality of the situation. Okay. Let us talk about Content Cop. So I actually did. I watched this and I clipped it, and then I watched it again and I clipped it, chat. So actually, I only clipped H3's reaction to it. Oh no, okay. I got this. Hold on. I'll go back to this for one thing that I forgot. But I want to show you the intro. The intro of this. There are 3 different intros to this Content Cop. Before I start, if you don't know, iDubbbz used to be an edgy content creator. He said the N-word. He burned a Quran. He also did nice little videos. There's a series that he did about trying to capture all the squirrels in his backyard and release them. And the whole catch and release squirrel saga is like so wholesome. And it shows that he had like a heart for animals, which is always an easy win for people on the internet. You know, he seemed like he had a soul. And then he got married to Anisa. And I don't want to just blame her, but I'm blaming this on her. To give you some background, after iDubbbz and Anisa started cucking out really hard, he made an apology video basically disowning everything that he had ever done. Everything that his 7 million followers plus had ever subscribed for, he disowned and disavowed and said that he was a better person and he regrets what he did and he's sorry and he wants to make more wholesome content now. One of the things that he was especially apologetic for was Content Cop, which was basically like pre-commentary YouTube drama videos, calling out creators. And when he put these videos out, it had a noticeable impact on the trajectory of the lives of the people that he went after. And he stopped doing that, I think, 8 years ago. And so H3 was one of the only people in the entire world of everybody online who, when iDubbbz did this simpering, I'm sorry stuff, and he got married to Anisa, who was humiliating him week after week, the only person who stuck his neck out for his friend was H3 and Ethan Klein. They said that the sex work stuff that Anisa was doing is fine, and that it doesn't humiliate iDubbbz in any way. She's an adult. She can do what she wants, and they have an adult relationship. The prudes don't get it. That it's right for him to make amends. If he felt that he was doing bad stuff, it's good for him to make amends to that. H3 carried the line and said stood up for them. Years later, after October 3rd, or October 7th, when Hamas attacked Israel and killed a bunch of innocent people at a fucking rave, there broke out a war. And how that war has been conducted is very controversial. But in general, there are people who are pro-Palestinian, and those people clash a lot with the Jews, like Ethan Klein and Hila Klein. Hila, in particular, was a member of the IDF, as I'm sure many people who listen to my stream will know. So H3 and Hila, they're still very big creators, but they find themselves in this uncomfortable position, whereas Jewish leftists living in Los Angeles, they are surrounded by pro-Palestinian people like Hasan, who is much bigger than H3 at this point. And so they've been kind of losing ground. And I've talked to a bunch of Jewish people for whatever reason, because I talked to Gabe Hoffman, and I've been talking to another Jewish guy recently. Just as sheer coincidence. And they both get this really uncomfortable feeling that it's like, I just sense the tide turning against us. We don't have any young friends anymore. Like, sure, the government right now is completely boomer and very like anti-Semitism. But the left and the right of the young people hate Jews a lot. And with the way that Hasan is like gaining popularity, it really genuinely scares them. It makes them uncomfortable, and it worries them. And they're like, I don't want to fucking get lynched by a bunch of Turk roaches in my own country, the United States. So it does scare them, and it scares Ethan, who's raising children in Los Angeles. Like, I don't want my kids to be hurt by people like Hasan, because Hasan talks to terrorists, openly calls for Israel to be claimed from river to the sea, which means the total destruction of Israel. So when iDubbbz started getting comfy with people on the Hasan sphere, Ethan got very upset, and he's like, bro, these people want me dead. And I look, I don't like H3, especially because he's become more litigious as he's gotten more popular. He's become a bit of a dickhead, right? He's done some really nasty, shitty things. But I understand his perspective. If I was him, I would also be really worried. And then the one guy that you really stood up for and stuck your neck out for is becoming friends with the guys who want you and your family fucking killed. And everybody you know back in Israel fucking killed. And he's like, what's the deal, big guy? What's up with this? And I think my theory is, and when I talked about iDubbbz in the past, I was very hesitant to blame everything on Aniza, because I don't think that even if it was her fault, it's like you have to blame iDubbbz for allowing himself to be manipulated like that. But iDubbbz was already on that path before they met up. And then they started being retards together at about the same time. However, with this, I really think it's Aniza's fault. I feel like Aniza has cracked the whip and said, we have to go after H3. He's a Zionist. Being associated with him is a bad look. And the real popular guys are the Muslims on Twitch like Hasan Piker. That's who we want to be with. And I think that iDubbbz got manipulated, because she probably didn't pitch it like that, but she pitched it like, dude, they're genociding the Palestinians over there. We can't be associated with this Zionist and IDF soldier any longer. And so iDubbbz did the most Jewish thing possible, and he stabbed H3 in the back without warning. Didn't even tell him. Didn't give him an opportunity to respond to certain things. He put together this video, and it is effectively just a regurgitation of every single thing that Hasan Piker has against H3. And there's no meat to it. It's like, at best, you can say that he was a little bit mean to one of his employees, and that he's a little bit of a dickhead. I mean, a big dickhead with the litigiousness. But the overwhelming majority of what he has to say is that Hasan Piker is a more intelligent and more educated and better opinionated streamer than H3 is when it comes to politics, and especially Israel. And that's it. That's the Content Cop, which is the exact opposite of what Content Cop was. Back in the day, Like for the Leafy video was very famous because Leafy was this bully who bullied a bunch of people, but he was obviously like a very clinically insecure person who had no fucking chin and always conspicuously covered his chin in every video of him. So that's why it was just mean-spirited bullying, making fun of taking people down a peg who had a big ego and a big head on their shoulders, who were being dickheads while, you know, showing their own ass. And that's why people liked it, because it felt kind of righteous. And he just fails to do it in this. So now that I've gotten the full background out, I'm going to play you the 3 intros from the Content Cop, because these are the only interesting things in the video. So intro 1, the reawakening segment.
Destination, the beach is surprisingly dangerous. Consider the fucking thing in our defense, like, actually, Hila's not a baby killer. Actually, accusing Ethan of killing his dog is maybe too far, because they have mobilized such an insane harassment group that anybody who says any fucking thing, they will attempt to ruin their lives. And once again, I'm the crazy one. It's not.
This in and of itself is insane to me. In that clip that he's listening to, H3 is talking about how Dinham, who's one of the Muslim streamers, I think Lebanese, called CPS on H3's kids and tried to affect his custody. And he had to go through like this entire program to prove that he wasn't abusing his children. And that's insane. That would get you banned from the Kiwi Farms. And H3 complaining about this, rightfully so, justified in doing so, because it's absurd that an internet beef would turn to government officials in your fucking house threatening your custody of your own children. iDubbbz is like, wait a second, this guy's bad after all. I need to go do another Content Cop. Like, in the language of the cinema, in the kino, that is what he is portraying to the audience. This clip of Ethan Klein being upset that his kids were fucked with by Dinhams and other people on the Reddit. He needs to do a video exposing Ethan Klein. And it's just absurd.
Bad enough that I have this group of...
What we do here is go back.
This is the classic music of all the Content Cops. So just lots of little silly stuff. He's putting on the uniform. He's like really trying to show off his body because he just considers himself. I think it's like a compensation where it's like he has been so emasculated on the internet that he feels like he's lost control of his masculinity. His wife's a whore. He's humiliated. Nobody respects him. So he's like, I'm going to do the most macho thing I can think of. I'm going to do Fight Club and I'm going to become a boxer. And that's his way of like compensating for how he's lost control over his own life. So he rented an Airbnb. This looks like Northern California. And he's doing like a skit. He's running off and he's running back. His people need him. He's no longer going to be living in a Ted Kaczynski cabin in the woods. And Jump Scare, Hasan Piker. So this is Creator Clash intro, or Content Cop intro 2. And it's literally just Hasan Piker.
What's up, everybody? I'm Hasan Piker, and this is the Hasan broadcast coming to you live from a cloudy day here in California, Los Angeles. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day.
Boys, girls, and I don't know anything about this guy, but everything I've ever seen him say makes me fucking despise him. What a disgusting fucking roach.
I have a very important announcement. I've finally done it. I watched Ethan Klein's Content Nuke, and I'm not going to call it Context Puke as I normally do, because the reality of the matter is it was brilliant. Nothing was out of context. Everything was correct. I am an Islamist, fundamentalist, radical terrorist. I am a vicious anti-Semite. It's true. Most importantly, Ethan is more attractive than me, both physically and also mentally. I've been lying about everything, including my glasses. They're fake. He was right about that. That's not even in the Content Nuke. And he was right about that too. How did he know everything? How?
So at this point, it switches to what I'm going to call intro 3. First one is just saying it's a Content Cop. It's pretty good, I guess. The clip he chose is stupid, but Okay, I get it. Then hard cut to just Hasan Piker not doing anything funny. He's just in his fucking room. And I think it's kind of just like, we're here, Ethan. We've breached the inner sanctum. We are now in Hasan Piker's streaming room. And that's how you know you're fucked. Any like it's like any prayer in this inner sanctum is amplified 1,000,000 times by Allah and by the presence of Hasan Piker. It just becomes 1,000,000-fold more powerful. So it's kind of like he's shooting his Kamehameha, and it's going through like a lens that's making it even more powerful because he just so happens to be in Hasan Piker's room as he does it. Truly just setting this up to be a real banger. So then it immediately, there's no cut in between the second one that I'm showing you and this one. It's just a direct continuation. But it becomes a skit. And my opinion is, and you'll understand once you watch it, is extremely, extremely, extremely cringe. But my opinion of this is that he is trying to ape Sam Hyde. And this is supposed to be very Sam Hydean because he was so utterly and completely destroyed and humiliated by Sam Hyde that he's tried to emulate some of his editing choices and how he tries to do like mind-bending stuff. And that will make sense as you watch this fucking nightmare. It is a literal nightmare. Get ready.
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Ethan, wake up.
Wakey, wakey, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Wake up. Time to be awake, Ethan.
Wake up, Ethan.
This is no longer a dream. This is a nightmare. Wake up.
Ethan, the dumb bitch is telling you to wake up.
Wake up.
Ethan, wake up.
Wake up, Ethan. Ethan, wake up. Wake up. Choose anyone? Just wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up, Ethan.
I'm not gonna do a react content yet, chat.
I'm the same, but nobody's telling you wake up, Ethan.
Yummy, I love sour hummus.
I'm wake up, Ethan. Wake up.
Ethan.
Wake up, Ethan.
Wake up.
Alright. Wake up, Ethan. Wake up.
That entire thing is just like, never mind Mecca. You found it. It's Hasan Piker's bedroom, apparently. All those people just celebrating the fact that they were invited to meet Hasan Piker. It's kind of like when the tranny met Joe Biden and got like a cookie from the White House. Like, I'm in the White House. I'm in the White House. But instead of the White House, instead of getting a cookie from Joe Biden, you're in Hasan Piker's bedroom in Los Angeles, which is just where he streams the fucking Twitch. But they're like overwhelmed with gratefulness that they're in his presence and in his room, the famous Hasan Piker studio with the Asana B neon light in the background. And it's like, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck about this stinky Turk roach? And hopefully you understood what I meant about Sam Hyde. This in particular is a GIF that I made. I saw this clip and you know what? I can make this into a GIF. This is him literally deep throating Hasan's microphone. I don't think he cleaned it. So that little foam has all sorts of spit and bacteria from Hasan Piker doing his podcast. If you were to lick my microphone, it'd probably be real fucking gnarly. And he's literally deep throating it. So to just drive that point home that this man is deep throating Hasan B, here he is sucking off the lick spittle of him talking into the microphone for the video. And it's just like, it's so embarrassing. And then here's what happens next. Ready? Oh, it doesn't even do that. Immediately after this, I'm gonna drop this in so I can show you because it's kind of important. Just so we can, I downloaded all this shit ahead of time so I could not fuck it up. Okay, content copies. There we go. Drop this in. And then wacky wacky. Now watch this. You ready? Okay, super edgy. And then oh wait, no, I'm sorry, there's a fourth intro. One more, and this is very keynote. This is actually very important. So here's intro number 4. I completely forgot about this one. So he's panting because he ran all the way from Northern California to back where he belongs in the studio. What does he do?
All right.
He drops the content cop uniform because he wants to show his audience, yes, this is called a content cop, but I'm different. And we're not doing the old content cop. This is new iDubbbz content cop. So he just, he doesn't just take it off, he shreds it because he's a big, muscular, manly man and not a cuckold at all. He definitely is a real man. So he's going to use his strength to tear that shirt off, showing you not only is this not a content cop, but he's destroying the old content cop with his newfound soy strength, Chad. It's very Kino, actually. It's Kino in a way that's like anti-Kino, where it's like, this is very purposeful. It has subtext. It has subliminal messaging, and it's also really, really fucking gay. So it's anti-Kino. So he sits down. He gets in front of his... He doesn't get in front of his computer like he did in the old days. He gets in front of a boxing thingy, so he can show you he's a boxer. He's so manly, he's a boxer, and he's not in front of a computer anymore because he takes his boxing career very seriously. Even though I don't think he's want to fight. And then this is the rest of the fucking video. He is set down in front of the fucking boxing thing, playing clips and just talking. And there's not honestly not too much to say about it. He's just complaining that H3 is not taking a position on Israel that he prefers. And he's accusing his new friends of anti-Semitism. And that's it. And so instead of showing you the video, I'm going to show you H3's reaction to the video because I find that much more interesting than iDubbbz himself. Now, I only have a couple minutes of this, and I want to start off with this clip.
Baby.
I just expected
also,
better.
I'm sure this is all going to get clipped, and I love that I'm looking like this for all this.
At least I don't have black hair.
True.
So Dan, the producer of the show, is in ponytails the entire time. So I thought that was very funny, so I clipped that first. Let's get an initial reaction. This is Dan leaning over to the to H3 to tell him that the second tower has been hit.
Some breaking news. Your old friend iDubbbz just released a video.
Yeah.
It's about you.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. That is no, it can't be.
Well,
it actually can't be. Holy fuck, dude.
It sure is.
Oh my God. Holy fuck.
He's in disbelief. I think that this kind of sums up the actual reaction. This is about 2 minutes in, and it's really good. And I want you to, my takeaway from this is that imagine how you would want somebody to feel, or how iDubbbz would have wanted Leafy to feel about his content cop. Imagine what emotion he's trying to put into Leafy and how he's trying to make him feel, or feel a certain way, as Bossman says. Probably bad, probably embarrassed, probably a little bit reluctant to go in front of a camera again, trying to humiliated, ashamed. Those are what he's going for. He's trying to debilitate him. Think about, when you're watching this, what emotions are going through this room as they talk.
This guy went from saying he didn't want to get involved to supporting people calling CPS, like associating with people calling CPS on my family. An atmosphere where someone like Bad Empanada is being platformed by people like Matt Lieb and Denims, who are friends with.
It looks like they're both in the video.
Check the description.
Oh my God! Like what? Why? What would I do to like fucking like what kind of fucking like bro? What kind of cowardly bullshit is this? Like, we have one disagreement where I get upset because you guys aren't defending me publicly after everything I've done to support you guys, and like you bring on people who are fucking Denims and Frogan, who did a fucking anti-Semitic tier list, and you're platforming them and co-signing them. And by the way, to even make it even more crazy, Lena's fighting in your fight, bro. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I actually can't believe that he did this. It's actually fucking unreal.
Pretty wild.
And it's just so pathetic too. Like, talk about a bandwagon. Like, bro, this is the edgy, cool content you're trying to make a play to like fucking warm up to. By the way, iDubbbz, Lena's fucking having a panic attack because Why would you do this and not even tell her? Like, why would you invite someone on the show and do this? It's just fucking mean-spirited. I can't. I'm genuinely in disbelief.
It was the froggy guy.
Did he message Lena or just you? Because, like, she's a human being too, by the way.
I don't know.
And this is about her. She's the one fighting. Why is he apologizing to you? Like, say sorry to her, you dumb fuck.
He might have. She's in the bathroom.
Dude, this is so fucked up.
I don't mean to make it about us, but man, I do feel bad for Lena. I had the full support of the whole audience the first time, and it was still so tough.
Yeah.
She's worked so hard.
And I know Ethan offered, to buy her out previously, but she doesn't feel right taking, that large amount of money from Ethan for nothing. So it's just a shitty situation.
Yeah.
Look at that face. Just utter fucking shock and disbelief. Like, it's unreal to him that this guy that he ate so much shit for is just going to turn around on him and try to shit on him so he can monkey branch to the Palestinian guy. And then even the like his staff, they're the people who have fought every year in Creator Clash. iDubbbz has no clout, no pull. He can't get actual people like Logan or Jake Paul to fight in his fucking event. So he gets random like producers from the H3 show to fight each other. Random thoughts from Twitch. Like extremely small creators are parts of larger creator streams. And now they're just sitting here like, what the fuck do I do? They've spent their own personal money in investing in private training that iDubbbz promised them that he would pay them back after the event had already made money. So they had to pay up front so they could be reimbursed later. And now they're in a position where they've already spent their money to do their personal training, and they've been working on it for months so that they can be in competitive form and participate in the event. And now the rug's pulled on them. And now it's like they're out of money, and they've been doing all this for fucking nothing. And it's like, what a fucking shitty thing to do. He couldn't even wait until after Creator Clash, and if he had been thinking clearly, he definitely would have waited until after Creator Clash, but instead, he pulled this now, and I think he pulled this with urgency because of Aniza pushing him to do so, and Aniza doesn't have any fucking business sense. So it's like, it wasn't just like a backstab, it was like a dumb backstab for no, like, just bizarre. I just don't get it. And then... see, I think this is...
On the other hand...
Okay. He actually reacts to about half the video. And I found this particular response from Gila. Even when I talk about Gila, I talk about Gila Klein. I talk about what she does, who she is. And when iDubbbz talks about her, you know how he refers to her throughout the entire video? Ethan's wife. Mrs. Ethan Klein. That lady, the girl that just so happens to sit next to Ethan. And she calls this out.
On the other hand, he's just got done capturing a massive progressive audience.
Wait, hold on.
His wife's Israeli. She served
his wife.
to
That's
the
all he has
Israeli
to say
cause
about
and what's happening to them.
that girl.
His wife's Israeli.
That's all she's good for. She's Israeli and she did the IDF, so you know what that means about her.
You know what that means? Dude, I've been blue balling chat for like 30 fucking minutes, but listen, I'm never late or gay. I'm always on time. Now, okay, they did not react to the entire video, but you know who did react to the entire video? Hasan. That's right. Hasan gave his blessing to iDubbbz. Now, Hasan watches like 12 hours of fucking XQC style react shit every single fucking stream, so it's not that important. He definitely would watch hour-long videos from my understanding of anything, but he did air the whole content cop on stream and agree with it. So let's cut to the live Hasan reaction to the content cop.
This is an iDubbbz feed.
It's important to remember that this is a living document and people can be removed or put onto it depending on how Ethan's feeling that day. You have this other tier of creators that exist below Hasan but are still anti-Ethan, but Ethan really doesn't want to bring your attention to these ones because it's kind of unpopular, you know? A lot of them are famous. It's no coincidence that Ethan stays silent when these powerful, popular men are supporting Hasan. It's because Ethan is a coward. He's a a bitch-made coward. I think Ethan has an unreasonable amount of respect for these comedians because they have power, they're quick, and I think he knows that they don't fuck with his ideology. But he's gonna keep that to himself because the last thing that he wants to discover is that people that he respects and looks up to, they don't fuck with him.
Bill Burr came on. It was like the worst fucking show. It was just horrible. That was like my lowest moment on podcast history. We could talk about Bill Burr in my life. Bill Burr
you might
made
notice that there is something conspicuously missing in this audio. Now, I want you to think about it. What could be happening on the screen that would correspond with this lack of turk roach noises? Could it be that Hasan Piker just fucking abandoned ship halfway through this video? Could it be that we're getting a live chair react from Hasan Piker's chair? I have it on good authority that iDubbbz smelled this seat. So getting the chair's attention, he'll settle for that. He'll settle for just a chair react from Hasan. Just funny. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing, bros. As far be it from me to defend H3 because I don't like him, and he's a dickhead, and he's a litigious dickhead. But what the fuck? And what's weird is that he's trading in such an old friendship for something that's so new. It's not like he's in really good friends with Hasan and he has to choose, right? He just met this fucking guy. This is his first time getting to smell his chair or deep throat the lick spittle off of his microphone. So there's no guarantee. They're not like real friends, and it's just bizarre, man. I can't even put myself in his shoes to understand what's happening. There is one thing I want to live react to. As I said, I've watched this 2 times over. I watched the first time, and then I watched H3 react to about half of it, and I pulled out some clips that I thought were particularly interesting. Most of what the content cop is just him, complaining about H3's opinions on Israel and how he's treated Hasan and so on and so forth. But there is one particular part that I have not seen, because what happened is at the end of this video, he's just playing like clips of other creators, and it's like, I don't give a fuck. And okay. So at the very end, he decides that he's going to show what moral high ground he stands on over H3. So even though he got all these Arabs together to shit on the Jew, to play a nice fun game of Kick the Jew, family friendly game across the United States, he decided at the end he's going to show that he's not doing a real content cop like the old days, because he's going to get all these people, including this living anthropomorphic pig in a blanket called Frogan, who is just disgusting, just one of the most viscerally disgusting things I've ever fucking seen. They're all going to say something nice about H3. So they all spout off like, well, he says what he wants and yada yada and so on and so, like just empty fucking platitudes. Here's something interesting about this, by the way. He gets every single person in the cringe intro where they're dancing around, all of them together and doing the Fortnite dance, and gets them all the people that you see in this video do a nice little thing about how much they, what they respect about H3, except Hasan. Only Hasan could not spare 10 seconds to say even a single positive thing about that dirty fucking Jew and his bitch Jew IDF wife, child killing murderer wife. Could not even eke out a single fucking thing that he respected about him, which the silence is deafening. Like, why even put that part into the fucking video if Hasan's not going to do it? Because that's the ultimate own, is for Hasan to do the moral fag thing with them too. He's like, well, it's so easy. I can do it. I respect the fact that Ethan Klein is faithfully married to his wife and is bringing children together up in the same household with no fucking around. As far as I know, he's never cheated on Hila. Though he did, I say that he has brought like porn stars and shit on the H3 podcast, but it's LA chat. You can't, he's not like you can't expect too much. As far as, I'll put it like this, I'll recover from that. As far as LA goes, he's doing a heck of a job, Brownie. Then there's one thing. I cut it off here. I literally did not watch this. So you're going to get a live reaction after this because there's one part that I want to show you that I somehow missed what was apparently everybody's favorite part. Let's watch it together. If you don't know, H3 once did an apology video, and the guy on the right is a psychologist. The psychologist did a review of H3's video where he apologized and said, "This is a very sincere apology. I gave it a 10 out of 10. H3 thought that was very funny. So he has repeatedly mentioned that he has given a 10 out of 10 apology, and he's kind of made jokes about that over the years. iDubbbz took that very serious and then went to this guy in this video to try and compel him to reduce his rating. And the guy, even though he flew out to Washington to talk to this guy in person, specifically to spite H3 in the most petty and vindictive way possible by getting a joke ruined, by having this guy alter post hoc his score for this apology based on the context, the guy refused. He said, "I stand by my 10 out of 10 rating. I review my apologies based on only the apology itself and not the context. And I stand by that it was a 10 out of 10 apology." So he did all of that to try and do a humiliation ritual on H3. And the psychologist just said, "No, I stand by it." And then at the end, supposedly, something happens where iDubbbz accidentally felts himself talking to the psychologist. You ready? So I've never seen this. I don't know what to expect. It's about a minute long.
It's really hard to be a couple online and see people attacking your partner, and it's like, okay, like if you come to their defense, if that doesn't always help them, right? Sometimes that makes it worse for them.
And I have been kind of slipping in.
That is disgusting. He cares. She's ruined your life, bro. You're a shell. You're an empty shell of a person puppeted by this disgusting woman pretending to be a Lebanese Muslim, despite being a prostitute. And you're crying about how much she means to you. It's actually disgusting. Wow. Let's finish this off because I don't know what happens after this.
To a very unhealthy place where it's gotten worse and worse, and I get criticized more and more, and I get more defensive and more pulled up, a feeling of almost infallibility that I could take anything on. It led me to make a lot of mistakes, and then when I was criticized for those mistakes, then I would act extremely defensive and nasty and not really processing them in a healthy way.
Is that supposed to be like an own? Kind of like when I played that Karl Jobst thing where he's like, "Oh boy, wouldn't it be hilarious if I was the first person to lose a lawsuit to Billy Mitchell?" Like kind of like a juxtaposition. Is that supposed to be like a juxtaposition where it's like, haha, I epically owned you with the content cop and now you look like a fool because you said this? Because otherwise I don't know what the fuck the point of that clip is. It's a very bad regardless, but it's bizarre. Yes, this music is throughout the video. So it's just such a blunder. And one of the things that H3 kept saying throughout his reaction is like, I can't fucking believe that iDubbbz had the confidence to put this video out and think that it would have the intended impact. Or as I would say, the friggin' audacity. The friggin' audacity of this guy to come out swinging like this. By the way, the comments, I tried to read the comments because I thought maybe there's some that are funny. All the comments are just like, wow, it sure has been a long time since the last content cop. None of them have anything to do with the video. Since the latest content cop, I've become addicted to drugs, got clean, got extremely fit at the gym, got a job, got promoted, relapsed for 1 year, lost everything, and got clean again. I have gotten 2 degrees and 3 children. A huge day for leftists who were edgy teens in 2017. And it's just like, absolutely nothing. Thank you for iDubbbz for making a high school reunion in your comment section. Nice to see everyone again. This is like the only real on topic stuff. This whole video is just what it feels like when you're 30 and you have uneducated friends who won't grow up. I don't know if that's like in support of iDubbbz or iDubbbz himself, but there's a thing that H3 says in his video where he's watching the cringe intro and he's trying to do like the build up of like, he's the content cop and he's going to epically own H3. And H3 just says, "Ian, you're not that person anymore." And it's so true. You're not that person. You are no longer the edgy cool guy on YouTube who's the content cop. You're a washed up guy pretending to be a boxer, dating a prostitute, married to a prostitute. You married a fucking whore. See, it's just like, it's crazy that the background for this drama is actual war and genocide. 30-year-olds acting like they are 16. I have no one I can talk to. You can talk to this to me. You can talk to this with me. Some stuff about missing Joji was a common sentiment. Joji, this is a Joji really knew the perfect time to fold his cards and leave. Like, the only comments that I see about this are actually about the video. Just like, this is like embarrassing. Oh, this one. It's crazy how both of these guys were like my favorite YouTubers back in the day, and now they're two of the most insufferable people I've ever seen. This video has gotten like 4.6 million views. And nothing happens in it. Nothing happens about it in chat. It's just nuts. It's just nuts shit. Have I gotten through everything? Oh, no, I actually have one a little update on Hasan. Immediately after this happened, and I guess Hasan was happy that iDubbbz was now that iDubbbz had new loyalties, so he might have been happy. This kind of went viral on Twitter, just real quick.
What? Are you?
So this is Redact. I think that this is the Jewish guy that runs or did a podcast with Destiny. I don't know if they still do a podcast. I think they're split up at the moment because of events. So Hasan's reacting to Dan posting, I would love to hang, Hasan Piker posted in 2012, I would love to hang in Diddy's Ciroc entourage and trickle down bang everything thrown his way. So he's reacting to this. This is a real tweet that he had made.
What? Are you denying going to a Diddy party? Of course I'm denying. This didn't happen. What are you talking about? Think. I walked into this like back like sphere Epcot looking thing in the back of like the house that P. Diddy was renting for his and was throwing after parties at Coachella, and they were playing like these crazy things for people who are high. Not me, of course. I had only eaten portobello mushrooms, and one of the images that they were playing was like this little girl, this like supposedly attractive, very young girl, like opening up a Christmas gift.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Oh my God, I did.
What? This guy, this is just how they are, man. They want to get famous. Do you think this guy gives a fuck about socialism or Islam? He just wants to fuck as many underage girls as humanly possible. Just like the Prophet. Just like the Prophet Muhammad, chat. And one other thing that I feel needs a mention, because you know how I am. So a while back, I posted some videos about an old friend of the forum, and I talked about how it was a bad idea for this person to come back on the internet and try to live a drama-free life, because obviously you're not going to have a drama-free life when you are who you are. Well, Queen Kafal's decided that actually they are coming back and they're going to do drama. Stream announcements. I'm not back until the 22nd. All Ethan Klein hate postings are allowed in all channels for the next 48 hours. Have fun. Good luck. I'm busy having sex with a woman 14 years old older than me, but I'm friends with iDubbbz and his wife, so you all are my strongest soldiers. Me, when I pipe a nitrazepam and start posting in wiggle cord, nothing ever happens. I think it's a sleep aid. And then he just starts like I think he's sleepwalking posting. MILF, I love milk. I hate Israel. Ah ha ha ha. My assholes person made a typo, dude. Unfoul. Oh, you can't see. Okay, here's the Keffel's tweets. Sorry, I didn't mean to deprive you of this. So this is Keffel's high on sleep aids, talking about how he hates Israel and wants to get his butt plugged by an older woman, probably a tranny also. is rushing to the side because I think Keffel sees this as his redemption. If only there was something that Keffels could do for Hasan Piker to just get a little of that magic dust crushed up in that sea of his. If he could just get a little bit of that magic dust, then he'll be back on top again. So, just in case, I'm willing to bet. I'll make a bet right here, $1,000. I will bet $1,000 that Keffels will never be anywhere near Hasan Piker. That means like on the stream, sniffing the chair, filleting the microphone, never fucking happening. Even Hasan Piker's like, yeah, this frumpy white in Italian quotes troon with the Catboy Ranch. No, thank you. No, thank you. And chat, with the help of pseudoephedrine, I have busted through one of the busiest weeks on the forum in its history in under 3 hours. I hope. I don't think I've missed any. Oh, I don't have a Reddit segment. Ooh, I don't have a Reddit segment, chat. Let's see. It was a great week. It was a great week. I've been enjoying this week. Is there like a Reddit post I can just yank off the oh my god, dude, I have to I guess this was a late submission, but I'm never gonna have a chance to use it, so let's shrink them down a little bit so you can see the URL. That's very, very cute. Who would make this? Good night. I will give him the big sticker because that's very fucking cute. Oh no, I did. I thought that was a Reddit post. It's not. I got the sentencing stuff right. Let me just skip just a little bit. See if I can find a Reddit post. If not, I don't want to abandon you guys to the super chat segment just yet because it's been such a good week. I'd like to spend a little bit more time streaming. I could just read more Patrick Tomlinson quotes. Here, you know what? This guy posted this. This is kind of cute, kind of funny, but not at the same time. Don't get me wrong, chat. Okay. Someone posted this. Ricky's is now the official hot sauce of Kiwi Farms. And then Billy Mitchell personally liked this. So use code SNEED for 41% off. Billy Mitchell thought this was a banger, so he liked it. So I guess it's true now. Someone said they're going to send me a bottle of his hot sauce. And I'm due for a mail run soon. So I guess I'll get the hot sauce and then I'll compare it to Frank's. See how it holds up, chat. It's nice to get an endorsement finally after all this time. I don't think I'm getting the Reddit segment today, chat. Nope. Everybody's let me down. You know what I can do? God, I feel so bad. I feel so bad just like leaving you guys high and dry. You know what? Let's pull a little emergency trick, chat. Let's do this. I usually only do this once a year, but for this occasion, because I want to stream just a little bit longer, let's pull out Lipstick Alley. If you don't know, Lipstick Alley is effectively Black Kiwi Farms. And it can be very funny. So usually what I do is I just go to forums, right? And then I scroll around, and I usually pick a board that sounds fascinating to me. Alley CEOs. Ooh, that sounds fun. This is going to be some black business owners. Anyone selling on TikTok Shop, help me fix my mom's handmade business. Starting a product business during the era of Trump's tariffs. Have you made money off ChatGPT yet? That sounds good. Okay, let's try this. People make money telling other people how to make money. It's a tale as old as time. If you didn't make money off Amazon affiliate marketing, you won't make money with this either. It's just YouTubers selling a dream. If everyone typed in a prompt to ChatGPT and it made them write shitty book, no one would buy it. They made the same videos about drop shipping and all the other side hustles. If anyone is making money off ChatGPT, I guarantee they aren't posting videos about it and inviting competition. Now this is just hustling. I expected more funny stuff. Yes, I've been using it pretty much to do heavy lifting for my marketing consulting. There are plenty of ways to make money from ChatGPT if you're looking for a one-to-one solution. Is a carbon copy of an assistant. Why do you need to automate in your business? That's how you make money off ChatGPT. Think of it this way: it's a sales process. So if you, I wonder if, like right now in our world, if you ask random people like for services, if you pay somebody like a business service, how much of what they're producing is just ChatGPT? I want something funnier though. The Sanctuary? Oh, that's for religion stuff. Pimp Slap Forum. What the fuck? The Last Days Apostate in the Church. Rogue ministers, deacon, reverends, and first ladies here. Joseph Solomon. They're asking for the tea. Okay. Is there tea? Okay, fuck it. Let's go to the dating app thing again. That's the funniest one. The Trayvon Martin forum. That hasn't gotten any new posts since I last saw it. Where's the dating one? Afro-Caribbean forum. Black History forum. I kind of want to read the front. Open marriage-free relationship. Relationship-free thoughts. Men usually use relationships as a platform. Each time I got involved with someone, they preferred to launch and basically treated me like I was the one who was baggage. I come from a prominent family, and quite frankly, it took me time to realize my real worth. Notice how Clooney didn't really marry until Amal came along and ended up suddenly campaigning for the presidency, and his PR talked about how Amal would be useful in getting him into politics. Then there is the fact that when women somehow break away, men want to land them and start promoting themselves. Men who marry royal women, she's a royalty chat, insist on whining about supporting their spouse as emasculating them, and so many do level up via marriage and complain all the time about feeling diminished. Men have often sought to marry high-level women as a way of self-promotion, and we all know how certain types of women are married only because they're suitable enough in their eyes. Men refuse to see the connection between success and good behavior because they are not held to the same standards. Dude, this is why black women, white male, black female marriages have like a 20% divorce rate, which is like less than half of all other partnerships. Because they know that they would have to date a black man. And that is like the worst fucking thing on the entire planet. Women are sad to me, settling for the dumbest men who don't amount to shit. My sister and her man have been living with his mom for some years now with multiple kids. Recently found out her man bought himself a Tesla. They still live with his mom, along with the kids. He's a manager, but yet all he does outside of work is play video games. Ridiculous. Yet this dude was cheating on her last year, and while I understand divorce can be expensive, I'd much rather pay up than stay with a man who embarrasses me and doesn't prioritize right. The red flags were there since day one, and this isn't the first time he cheated or wasted his money. I wouldn't put my kids through shit like that. Bro, it's rough. It's rough. It's rough in the hood. What's this one? I had friends in the past deal with abusive and nasty boyfriends, come around to me to trauma dump and gossip, had me go to their house in the middle of the night to de-escalate their fighting, only for them to go back not even 24 hours later. 10 out of 10, it's always a pick me. A pick me! Oh my god. 2, like self-love in the room, please. Don't intervene next time. You're putting your life in danger by being in proximity to they mans. Pick me women are dangerous to other women since they put their men above everything else. This includes their women and children. I'm tired of reading stories where women dude, it's rough. It's rough out there in the black dating market. You could be friends with somebody dating a black man and end up dead. They've seen it. They've all seen this with their own eyes, and they know. Tragic. Okay. All right. That'll suffice, I think. That'll suffice. My takes on black dating, black relationships chat. So super chat segment. You can do the super chats on rumble.com/c/MatthewNet or XMR chat/Maddie. And let's do it, chat. I'm very warm right now because of the, it's warm in my room. Let's see. Oh, it's not on this. Sorry, I forgot how to read my own super chats. All right. Sneak Cricket for 540 says, I saw that Sam Hyde retweeted spicy Spic Catboy Fuentes on the site formerly known as Twitter. Sam wore the Sancho medallion, didn't he? Also, good work keeping the site up and running throughout all the happenings. Thank you. It was a very timely update, even though it broke some stuff. But yeah, I'm happy about the site's performance. Yeah, he sure enough is retweeting Nick Fuentes again. If Austin Metcalf was Jewish, Trump would have said something about him. Yeah, I guess. That doesn't seem like a very controversial take. I guess Sam Hyde wants to be buddies with Nick Fuentes. I'm not surprised. He already was. They showed up together. They did that Ronald McDonald activation QAnon video together. Kurt Eichenwald, Anime Masturbator for 5, says, Glorious Kiwi Emperor, 4chan is kill. I repeat, 4chan is kill. This is not a drill. I heard. Thank you. Porglack for 2 says, why are all your enemies white and like 2 Asians, and you have so many pleasant stories about your dealings with the Browns? Because I don't live around them, is why. As far as why all my enemies are white, black people don't get on the Kiwi Farms, generally. They get on Lipstick Alley, that's why. Portlack for 2 says, why are sorry, I read that twice. Bunker Housing for 5 says, finally, time for some content. Also, remember to buy olive oil for popcorn again. I usually get a spray, so it keeps the salt on better. Thank you. Dragoons for 5 says, Autistic Thunderdome is the best Thunderdome, or the best dome. That is a controversial take. I'm not going to opine. Humble Guardsman for 10 says, hello, Evelina. Ooh, which is a quote from a meme that I know of. Thank you. Space Allen for 50 says, Ham Jam. Thank you, Space Allen. I appreciate it very much. Kiwi Friend for 50 says, hey, or sorry, 1 Kayla even, maybe, if you want to swing that way. Hey, no, long time no see. Lots of stuff happened. Wanting to let you know that you're the best, and Friday is my favorite day because of your streams. Be well, my friend. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Such kind words. Where's Bun Bun for 20 says, I missed the paranormal board. Here's 20 to buy some peppermint tea or whatever, little bro. I don't drink tea. I'm caffeine free at the moment. I'll use this to buy a Monster next time I go out so I can imbibe my Monster again. Thank you. 11th Circuit for 2 says, I wish everyone except Nick Rekieta a very happy Good Friday. Oh, that's mean. He needs all the encouragement he can get right now. The false copy of Sunder for 5 says, I am a new user from 4chan and the Kiwi Farms is great so far. When scrolling threads, there seems to be a disturbing lack of black penis. Let me know where I can report this issue to your site. You had me in the first half. I'll give you that. It's true. There's very little BBC on the Kiwi Farms. Black Star Sneed for 10 says, thanks for everything, Josh, especially the help with my account last night. Been a Star fan since 2019, and it's been a wild ride. Can't believe it's been almost half a decade since the corn harvest. He had an issue that drove me fucking crazy. His account could not upload any attachments, and I discovered it was because the update broke something where if you upload attachments, it creates a duplicate and that hang with no post attached for a little while before they get automatically deleted. And if you have 100 of those, then you can't upload any more files. It was literally driving me insane, though. Sneed Fiend for 5 says, in Goy Forest, just finished in the Goy Forest. Not from Eglin, are you? What's funny is that everyone is like so schizophrenic about Eglin Air Force Base, and I grew up there. I literally lived in Valparaiso for like 5+ years, and Eglin Air Force Base, like the road to commute to Eglin passed right next to my house, and it was probably like a 10-15 minute drive, and everybody in Niceville worked at Eglin. That was like the entire reason that town existed. So it's very weird to hear people talk about Eglin as if it's like a boogeyman. It's like, I lived right there. I even remember one time George W. Bush flew into Florida for his re-election campaign, and Air Force One flew over my house, and I happened to be outside when that happened. And Air Force One is so fucking massive that it legit blotted out the sun and left me in darkness. And I looked up like, what the fuck is that? It was like the loudest sound I'd ever heard. It was like a proper like Supermax Boeing 747 blotting out the fucking sun, like only a couple feet above my head, because we were so close to the base. The runway was like right there, so there would be F-35s flying overhead all the fucking time, shaking the house and shit. And yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy to see Air Force One like that. Awaken34 for one says, at first I wasn't going to send money as I don't get paid until next week, but after hearing Google eat shit, I feel compelled to. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Sergeant Wizard Fist for 5 says, Josh, you are too high energy today. It's scaring me. I know. I guess I'll be high energy all throughout allergy season. I don't know what to tell you. Schwarzwald Null for 5 says, hey, hello chat. Let me have a sip of water. Oh, geez, you're dismissed. I don't know what that means. It's like 3 different things that I say at different times, but it's mashed together. Bordier for 5 says, Graf says he's trying to buy Fortune and Federated Thoughts. Oh, good joke. Bunker Housing for 3 says, I think God is with you considering how lightning struck the Floyd Memorial. Also, you think good likes the satanic tranny culture. No, I don't think that actually. David S877 for 25 says, how much is it going to cost you to wear the Bucky's beaver outfit for your first published photo? A lot, buddy. I don't even know if I don't think you're not even giving me enough to afford the Bucky's outfit. Thank you. Dale Gribble 69 for 5 says, Josh, if you're still having tech issues, may I recommend getting a hot young dude to help fix the website, preferably one with a love for pro wrestling. I have intentionally been avoiding PWR because I know he's like a pet homegrown fascination of certain other people's, and I'm trying not to put the Eye of Sauron on him just yet. Lalanthia for 10 says, thanks Josh. Thank you, I appreciate it. Simulligan 2 for 5 says, here's something that is mildly interesting. Filipino movie Bob clone and game show obsessed cow Corey Anato doing some dance. Okay, let's see it. Let's see it, I said nervously. Oh, you linked something wrong, bro. Yeah, you cut off your, Oh, I can find it. Don't worry. Okay, here we go. That's pretty good. I wasn't expecting him to start moving at all. I was like, the fact he broke out into a little dance is took me by surprise, actually. Tetrax for $50. It says, rare Hopium W stream. Life is good sometimes. It is indeed. It is a good Friday, so that's why it's so good. Thank you. Foxes for 5 says, please do not dead name Anissa Joma's husband. Oh, sorry, not iDubbbz. I mean, Ian Jamha. The Ghost of 4chan for 285 says, total Janny death. Ooh. Sika Lother for 10 says, I did tell you that the Chinese naming children after yourself and your elders is a sign of disrespect. I believe Genghis Khan's father named him after an enemy he defeated to insult said enemy. That's funny. Sika Lother for 10 says, I can understand giving your children a very common name to protect them from being doxxed. If you ever consider a name change, I recommend using the name Zach Pradle. I don't think I will be taking that suggestion, but thank you. Anime Extremist for 2 says, if you reach a financial goal to checks, can we get an anime review? I want to hear your review of Frieren. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard it's really good and super racist. Hashtag anime right. Well, presumably almost everybody except you will be donating for the actual website and not for anime reviews. So I think I said that my price for an anime review would be $1,000 per hour, and it can't be weird sex shit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I said. Mouse Cop for Mouthcap 5 for 10 says, Feeser started out as a Nick Fuentes stan. When Fuentes didn't give him the attention he wanted, he swapped to being Nick Fuentes' biggest A-log. Then later he sucked the Fuentes dick again. Surely pathetic. Yeah, that is fucking gross, bro. I don't even know why he bothers. Just quit. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to miss you, bro. Just fucking give up. Sneen, thank you, by the way. Sneen Feeding for one says, Karl Jobst will be eating nothing but Wheat Bix for the rest of his life. Maybe he can get some hot sauce on those Wheat Bix to spice him up a bit. MadClaw95 for 5 says, no, Stalker Child, you will take my dono. Enjoy pizza. Ooh, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. I might have some extra calories today for reasons. Scott Jonesy for one says, Nick is not serving jail time. It is deferred as long as he complies with probation. YouTube lawyers aren't good lawyers. If they were, they'd not be on YouTube. I said that. I don't think I missed that point. I did talk about the deferred sentence. I don't know if you just didn't wait for that or something. JP Trigger Pull for $50 says, Jersh starts his anime board in a week before 4chan's kill. What did he know, chat? Also, fantastic episode. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know. It was good timing to have the forum updated like the day before so that it could handle more traffic. I'm very pleased with how people, I did my whole spiel before, but I'm really happy about how people are giving the site a chance. And, the people that post on image boards, they hate me, bro. They really hate me. We're not at risk of like a 4chan takeover or anything. They really fucking despise me. They would not want me involved in anything that they like. TB Deluxe for 5 says, what is Rekieta's shitty snake tat is a secret map, or what if it is what he meant to say, is a secret map of the Candy Ohio County Jail like that Prison Break show. They can't hold him, Josh. He's too smart. It's true. He got all the blueprints and he tattooed the layout of the prison into his skin so that he can break out eventually. He'll never serve it. Not a day. On the first day, he'll be breaking out. MH Dark Law for 2 says, given the letters that Robert, Kayla, and Megan Fox sent, you would have thought that Nick was being sentenced to 20 years in prison. Here's hoping the body cam footage. Yeah, I didn't even read those. There were a couple letters that they sent in asking for a reduced sentence, but it's just like 30 days is honestly about right. Like, let's show that this is serious, that there is loss of freedom as a potential consequence of continued action. You don't get to just you don't get to make fun of the entire county and get away with it. They went easy on those, what I'm saying. Haramburger for 2 says, question, can my lovely viewer avatar frame stack and display the gilded, true, and honest avatar frame at the same time? I need maximum supported perks available at all times to flex on them poor fags. Yes, they will stack. He's spoiling something that I haven't announced yet. Awaken34 for 1 says, for the Corrine clip, you could have said it was pre-Kokski and not Sober Ralph. That's true. I never watched Andy Worski, though, so I don't have like a frame of reference for his timeline. Dragoons for 5 says, that Corrine stream was hysterical. It's the first time I'd heard the term sperm burper. That's pretty fucking gnarly, bro. It was pretty funny. I was there, I know. Blind Oracle for $50 says, Corrine is making Blue Waffle a reality for Jim's cancer aids. What does that mean? Is there some kind of like silver byproduct that she's fermenting in her body to like cure his cancer aids? I don't even know what you're saying. Don't even want to know what you're saying, bro. Thank you. Chuck Poster for one says, the Kiwi Farms lifestyle brand has me white hot. That's a PWR reference, I believe. Peter Thiel for 1887 says, I've recently found your forum quite entertaining. Monetization schemes seem promising. Would you be open to Series A or seed round? Sure, buddy. Whatever you got. Thank you. Devious Devi for 2 says, Devious Devi for 2. Thank you, Devious Devi. Melon Salt for 1 says, can we get a suffer horse suffer, Josh? Do I have that clip still? Oh my god. Let's see, just for old time's sakes. Videos? Is it in here? No. I don't think I have this. I would say now it's time to beat a dead horse, and I had a little animation for it. Like, I got to use like twice before she dipped, but I can't just say suffer horse, suffer. Though now I can't separate it from how PPP says it. I used to say it a different way. Now I've brain rotted, and the absence has made me forget how to say it. Anime Extremist for 1 says, as a member of the VTuber VTubing enthusiast community, I strongly disavow this is not normal. This is not okay. I'm telling you, bro. We're gonna get the best of everything, and all the lolicons can just go to Mark's website. I'm okay with that compromise. I don't need 5,000 posts an hour about lolicon. Foxes for 5 says, but Jersh, you're my Oshi finger touches. Thank you. So flattering. Awaken34 for 2 says, unrelated, but ever heard of a game series called Ace Combat? If so, which is your favorite? -5. I've never played any of them. I know what they are, though. Burger for 2 says, I've been doing my part to onboard the 4chan refugees by inviting them to a DM chain. They've been very appreciative of the warm welcome and your neighbor words being spammed. Pay piggies will be yours. My man is laying out the turf for me. What a hero. Sneeda Standing for 5 says, the Animu is corrupting you, Jersh. Also, someone was standing outside Nick's courthouse in a clown wig. Really? This better be real. Oh my god. Oh my god, that is funny. I'm gonna xeet this right now, bro. Let's see. A clown was in attendance at Candio High Court for the sentencing. Okay, I'll also link to this is how I shill my site, chat. Where is it? This link. Bam. Copy the link. Bam. Awesome. That is some good content, chat. Oh, that is very funny. Thank you. Banana Plugs for 5 says, Happy Easter, Josh. You're my favorite non-Slav always. Just arrived at my in-laws after 3 hours of driving. Time to eat. What food from Easter Europe do you miss? Lamb. I was lucky enough to have a real Irish Easter dinner, and I don't think I've ever had lamb before then, and it was very good. I really enjoyed my dinner. Ireland is awesome. It sucks that they're going through some shit right now. Spinglecat for 10 says, since 4chan is dead, I randomly got reminded of He Will Not Divide Us. Okay, let's see.
If this is a racist message, report them. Hello?
Yo, Pepe, what's up, bro?
Hello?
Pepe.
See, another racist message. They're spreading racist messages. You guys know exactly what this is. You guys in these chat rooms, stop doing this. From Melbourne, Australia, we have... Now, what did you have to say?
I want to ask.
Hello?
Do you bless the white race? Do you praise Hitler?
Hit that. Can you not spread racist messages? Do you guys see that? You guys hearing this, right? Hashtag He Will Not Divide Us.
Is this like a gay furry? This is like a gay black furry. Bro, you don't see many like black weirdos like this, but when you do, they're like properly fucking weirded out. They're like the black people who manage to have like white autism are like full fucking retard. It's kind of amazing. Thank you. Laserdisc Spinman for 3 says, at Laserdisc Spinman, pouring one out for 4chan for all the memes and good times. At the same time, I feel this wasn't going to end any other way. It's just sad, man. Sad. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you have this asset. Why would you not take care of it? Why would you not want it to be its best self? You know what I mean? Why would you not want to reinvest into it and make it better? It's unimaginable to me. And it's sad because it's a cultural artifact of the internet. Monero Monkey for 2 says, how does it feel to be Elon's peer as one of the last 2 white website owners? Feels great. Let me tell you. It feels great. Logistical Nightmare for 10 says, happy Easter weekend, Josh. Great show as always. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Prep Boy Rick for 10 says, Good Friday indeed, a blessing from the Lord on this day. The corn harvest has started far earlier than expected, and the milk is as sweet as cream. Rackets got out of streaming today after all. He's not going right to jail. It's after if he fucks up probation. If he does stream, I would be shocked. He might stream and try to cope-explain the sentence. Thank you. Mr. Manchester for 10 says, I like the 4chan refugees. They're all really just want a place to talk about stuff that would be great to see them breathe some life into the off-topic boards. Buy them some dog food with this $10. I agree. The off-topic boards are underappreciated, but the thing about the off-topic boards is that if you want the site to do well, you know, there were times where we had no real locale content for like months at a time. Like when Chris was slow and the site was new, it would be months before anything happened, anything worth talking about. So if during those slow periods, not every week is going to be this week, but if during those slow periods, there are places people can still post on the site, that's good. That's good for the health of the site. And popular things are popular. You know, if a site's slow and you have space for XYZ, it doesn't matter. But if things are popular, then they stay popular. Red Eyes Black Dragon for 2 says, what if you owned 4chan, Jersh? You could if you really wanted. Probably not. I probably can't afford it. But if I was being paid to deal with it, I could do it. Bordier for 5 says, 4chan soft banning. I remember when people started thinking YouTube was shadow banning and people were really mad and comparing it to Chi-Com censorship. Now every site is 100 times worse and it makes me sick. Yeah, it's called discouraging, but it's or it used to be called hell banning. Red Eyes Black Dragon for 2 says, you should metal detect to find more silver coins. That's a lot of time investment to find to maybe have a chance of finding something. Koi Dante for 10 says, I used to think that funny people can't restrain it. The jokes just slip out and you can't restrain them. But iDubbbz hasn't said anything funny in 6 years. My worldview is crumbling. That's because of he's on SSRIs, bro. He's like a different person. Thank you. The Ghost of Lotax for 1 says, the most annoying thing about 4chan is how easily it would be to improve the site. Just doing minor changes, like banning Twitter screen cap threads, would drastically improve the site's quality. Woo. Yeah, I agree. I covered that. I agree. Banana Plagues for 10 says, you mentioned Ethan Klein, and I instantly hear a certain 10 seconds of Vince Stoffel's clip that has gun sounds. I did play it. Stupid Fuck for 1 says, they finished doing gas line in front of my house, but there's still fucking porta potty in front of the house next door. It's 80 degrees today. Gross. Sorry to hear that. Tech Controller for $20 says, what's even grosser about no warning towards Ethan is one of the H3 crew is set to box in Creator Clash 3, plus H3's audience was one of the largest audience groups for Creator Clash. Yeah, he covers that. He said, like, when he went to Creator Clash, it felt like an H3 fan meetup because everyone there was also a fan of H3. So he's really, like, cut himself out from under his own knees. Thank you. George Floyd for 20 says, I saw a fat loser wearing Teddy Fresh H3 merch in public. It was like voluntarily wearing a sign wearing, please rob me. I have money and I'm stupid. It is not Ethan Klein merch. It is Gila Klein merch. She has her own fashion line called Teddy Fresh. But yeah, it's very like pastel. I guess it looks okay, but I don't know. Stino for 1 says, iDubbbz looks like a gay skinhead. It's true. He has these very like his the innermost of his eyebrows are like so narrow they like lock into each other and it just makes him look perpetually fucking angry and sad. Verdier for 2 says, iDubbbz, I think he's courting Twitch lefties because it's not YouTube rightoids and he's too ashamed of his old content on YouTube. Same with Creator Class, and Aniza might be playing on that. No, I think that he was fine with his relationship with H3, but Aniza did the whole, I'm a Muslim and I'm super oppressed and you can't be friends with a Zionist pig anymore. Wee. And then he didn't have a choice. Banana Plugs for 2 says, George Miller fucking won by distancing himself from those two, killing off the pink guy universe. Yeah, Joji's great, man. His music kicks ass. Yeah, his music is great. Mouse Cop 5 for 10 says, Muslim versus Jews is like AIDS versus cancer. I don't find this a hard choice. I would pick Jews. I hope that one day Jews in the United States start getting anti-immigrant sentiment because of like they so obviously like not just like the Turks and Arabs, but like the Mexicans. They tend to side with the Turks and the Arabs because they're like that same color of brown, and because they have like that anti-imperialist shit that they're like obsessed about. I honestly hope that the pendulum swings with Jews and they start like realizing that only the Christians tolerate them and don't actively want to kill them. Barolo Furman for 2 says, have a nice Easter and Good Friday. Thank you. Appreciate it. Sneaky Cricket for 3 says, I happened across the Bible verse that is quite fitting for today's verdict and Good Friday. Rekieta said to him, truly I say to you, Ralph, that this very night before a rooster crows, you, Ralph, will deny me 3 times. You stumbled across one of the most famous Bible verses and I mean, I guess maybe this is like the anachronistic where it's like it's about Ralph and Rekieta, maybe. Bunker Housing for 3 says, there should be a version of that Gila clip where it's iDubbbz shooting Ethan. Yeah, right. He wishes. Crypto Hag for 1897 specifically says, are you growing any plants yet in your new home? Will we get a banana pepper V2? Have a happy Easter weekend. No, not yet, because I'm just kind of floating around at the moment. Thank you. Colga Dante for 20 says, I rate iDubbbz's humiliation ritual a 10 out of 10. He could not be more contemptible by any measure. Surely the peak of the art of being pathetic. Yeah. It's kind of amazing that he branded it a content cop too, because now it's like you're going to have millions of people see what a fucking loser freak you are. Thank you. Ian is truly, and then there is a catbox file. Oh my god. I don't understand this meme. It just says the raped with like the Full House font or something. I don't know. I don't get the meme. He's not been raped. He's just cuckolded himself voluntarily to Anisa. He chose this. He didn't even get like forced upon him. George Floyd for one says, all these obnoxious Palestinian supporters make me lean towards supporting Israel. Tell me about it. I've already been Israel's greatest ally for my entire life, and now I have to find ways to keep upping my own world record in terms of being the greatest ally that Israel has. Asian Tech Support for 10 says nothing. Thank you, Asian Tech Support, very much. I appreciate it. Gump for 10 says, you forgot to mention that iDubbbz defending 9/11 because Hasan is more passionate about American imperialism. I did. I completely forgot. One of the only things that he goes out on a true fucking limb where he says that Hasan Piker said that America deserved 9/11. And then iDubbbz legitimately goes, but Ethan, you forgot to mention the history of American imperialism and genocide. And it's like, it's innocent people working in a fucking building that do office shit. They destroyed it to try and like send a message to like American capitalism and shit, bro. There were no politicians in there. There were no important people that died. For some reason, all the important people were at work that day, bro. There's no way to justify it. Black Star Sneed for one says, I gave $10 earlier, so please show this. Okay. Oh, dude, I can't show that. It's called guntsucking.gif, and it's the microphone thing with the Ethan Ralph gunt wiggling in front of it. And it's actually so gross that I'm afraid that I can't actually show that because it does look like genuinely pornographic. So I'm going to edge on the side of caution and not show it. Lalanthia for 2 says, the only correct answer to who is your Oshi is Null. That's right. That's completely accurate. Bunker Housing for 3 says, is there a board where we can discuss and study certifications? Internet and technology, I would imagine. Or self-sufficiency if it's like actual job stuff and not tech. Baldo Peggins for 5 says, does Lipstick Alley have a George Droid thread? No, I guess you could make one if you really wanted to. Not even numerals for $50 says, nice show. Well, thank you very much. Not even numerals. I'm glad you enjoy it. Sindo for one says, Anime Sucks is probably happy that Jani's got phone booked. He's gonna send them the farting dragon pics in the mail. They're gonna wake up and pull off their bed sheets, and there's gonna be like 1,000 farting dragon pictures under the covers at their feet, and they're gonna scream. Hamster for 10 says, I forgot that it was Maddie today, so I just came here just in time for Super Chats. I want to say hello to everyone. Hello, Hamster. You missed a good stream. You should roll. We're going to take it back. Bum, 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 bum. Gotta wind it back. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Anime Sucks, Cope, and Sneed for 5 says, nah, I don't care, LOL. Tell Solidus I own them on O. By the way, did Kennedy get killed because McNamara was starting up his defense intelligence agency? Kennedy was killed because he was trying to remonetize the silver coin, bro. Don't get it twisted. Hydro. This is a hard name to read, green on green. Hydrofluoroolefin for 5 says, here's my contribution to your fund to purchase 4chan. Hope your day's going nice. Happy Easter, Grand Sweeper. Right, Hero Yuki. Say, pay this guy $144,000 a year with medicine, with eyes and ears. Thank you. Laser Gator for... That's a weird name. For 2 says, we were originally stationed at Holbert Field, and my roommates asked what Whataburger you worked at. The one in Destin. I worked in the one right next to the Destin Beach. Mad Archive 505 for 2 says, I volunteered to print out the mail rackets, the updates on his side while he's in the clink. I'm not endorsing anything. You can do what you want. I have no opinion. Bunker Housing for 3 says, we're not going to get us some JF Garippy content also. Not today. No, I'm going to probably do that next week, depending on how that week goes. I've not forgotten about it, though. Chunky K for 5 says, nothing. Thank you very much. Green 2222222 for 5 says, should I frame the pardon certificate Trump gave me, or would it scare away the hose? If you have a certificate of pardon from the J6 shit, you should frame that for sure. Don't even cheap out on it. Get like a big frame. Get like a frame that's filled with like argon and is like airtight and has UV resistant glass and shit too. You gotta hang that like on the mount, like it's a piece of paper, right? But you need one of those frames that has like a border inside the frame that's like twice as big, so it fits up like a full mantle length, and get like a really kitsch ornate gold border, argon that shit, and seal it up and put it over your mantle. And when the bitches walk in, you point at it and say, I was arrested and pardoned by Donald J. Trump personally. That's what I would do. It'd be the background of all my streams. Sudo for 10 says, for the lack of Gamba content, and then there's a link. Let's check it out. I have a feeling this is going to be quite loud. Your cat can have the same mental problems as you. That's cute. I mean, it's cute, but it's sad he's hopelessly addicted to the Gamba. 3Cat Pileup for 20 says, humble request for next time, more tranny tears coping and scening over the British W. Oh, fuck. I did. I forgot all the responses, like threatening to kill J.K. Rowling and shit. That's a loss. You're right. That's a lost opportunity. I wish I had thought of that. Thank you. Anime Extremist for one says, I was talking about Pantsu, not Shondo. Shondo says edgy stuff as part of her personality. What she said in the clip was not a good look, and I don't like it. Bro, she wears a pacifier. Her character talks like a fucking toddler and wears a pacifier. Get your fucking head checked. Shondo's mom died recently too, and she's talked about mental health problems in her family. Although I don't really watch her, I genuinely feel bad for her. I mean, I'd feel bad for her if she wasn't a lolicon with a pacifier in her mouth talking like a retard. Like, stupid is as stupid does. Crispy Legs for 5 says, Happy Good Friday. Thank you. I appreciate it. Happy Good Friday. Light Roast for 1 says, Josh doesn't know who Blue Waffle is. I know what Blue Waffles are, bro. I know what they are. I don't know who Blue Waffle is, but I know what it is. Monero Monkey for 5 says, new perks available with crypto. Yes. I'll have to do that manually still, but I don't know. Maybe I can set up something automatic. Since I'm in a productive mood, maybe I can do that. Haramburger for 2 says, between his IBS and trailer park aesthetics, Ian now has both track marks and skid marks. Gross, bro. He does look like the trashiest fucking person to ever live, though. 3.8 million sub YouTube channel. Use your screenshot as the 4chan source on the KF Twitter at 305 and a KF screenshot at 309. Really? Who? I know Turkey Tom cited us quite a bit with his recent video about Tommy Tudor. Oh yeah, this is Cobb.
Exploited an actual
on the thread, and it shows at 308. Oh, that is 308. And then what? 305. Short little video. Oh yeah, he didn't show the Twitter account though. What a dickhead. He took he didn't even download the zip file. He just took my screenshot, and I know that's my screenshot because it's number one, it looks exactly how I had it, but also that's Breeze I use KDE on Arch when I took this. just to make sure I have my cred. When I'm talking about the 4chaners, I gotta let the 4chaners know that I am using Arch, as a matter of fact. But apparently it's a G meme that KDE crashes with a K, so I'm not that cool yet. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I'm glad people are acknowledging us. I wish that he would have just included the actual Xeet instead of the screenshot, but the normalization is happening, chat. By the way, I have a special hamster also made by that guy that pissed people off, but I'm going to be using this as a little dancer for the stream too because I like it. Now, here's the deal. I have 3 different outro songs picked, and I picked my one because I wanted something 4chan like that reminded me of 4chan, so I had 2 options, or 2 options, and then I added a third at the last second. So this was option A, which should be familiar to some people.
Wishing on a dream that seems far off.
That is... Oh, fuck. Right before the end stream ends. That is... Option A, Winds Nocturne. This was option B.
Do the impossible, see the invisible. Row, row, fight the power. Touch the untouchable, break the unbreakable. Row, row, fight the power.
Which is Libera Me from Hell by Gurren Langen. But I feel like the weebs got too much this stream. So you know what? We're taking it back to our roots. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great Easter weekend. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your support. I had a great time. Until next time, take it easy. Bye-bye.
Let's do it. Let's go back. Back where? Back to a website. Let's go back to a website. Come on, come on, come on, come on, back to a website. Or you can log on to your favorite websites. .com. Oh, that website. I was scrolling down to the local HTML. Getting kinda nifty on the side. When what do I see? A W times 3. And a .com times 25. Let's go back to a website. Come on, come on, come on, come on, back to a website. Log on to your favorite website. Not just the same for websites. On your phone. Phone. Let me get that hit counter. Ooh, look at all those hits. Let me sign that guest book. Nobody's gonna sign my guest book. Let me join your web ring. Can you really trust these people? Let me see that links page. Hey man, can you link to my website? Let me get that site map. What is a site map, anyway? Nobody in the history of the internet ever clicked on the site map. Let's go back to a website. Come on, back to a website. You can log on to your favorite website. .com. Oh, that website. Scrolling. Now we're scrolling. Till you get to the end of the page. Scrolling. Yeah, we're scrolling. There used to be an end to the page.